Traveling the Vortex.
We've joined the Doctor as he travels the Vortex, and then at episode number 140. And I never thought I'd have to fire an anger at a dratted caterpillar. I'm Keith.
I'm Sean.
I'm Glenn.
How are you guys?
Very good.
Did you have a good staycation, Glenn?
I did. I had a really good staycation.
I'm going to be glad that you're back.
Yeah, you've been stuck with my job now for the last... Finished. I continued my trip through time. Visited the Brown v. Board location here in Topeka, which is the original site, or it's Monroe School is one of the desegregated schools, one of the many ones across America. And Brown happened to be the first name on the Supreme Court case that desegregated schools.
Did they go alphabetical?
They did. That's why Brown was on the first one. That's why it's actually labeled Brown versus the Board of Education, because it's actually Brown, and they have all the names on there. But Brown's
I never
the first
knew
one.
that.
So they call it Brown versus the Board of Education. Topeka.
So once
actually,
more,
it's Brown versus the Topeka Board of Education.
Once more, our claim to fame is not so much.
Right.
Yeah.
But no, but we have the National Historic Site here in Topeka, and it is a national landmark, and it's run by the Park Service, National Park Service. So I stepped in there for the day, and it wasn't even a day. It took me about a half hour to go through it, because there's not a lot there. It's the school, which is, been converted, and it's a school. But
yeah.
And then some of the rooms have significance, civil rights movement themed rooms, and the school desegregation itself, and then all of the civil rights movement and involvement, and the legacy of Brown. And it's pretty interesting. It's neat. There's not a lot there, so like I say, it only took about a half hour. That was reading everything too. So, and then after that, there's a little place here in town called the Colonel John Ritchie House, which he was one of the original. I don't want to say founders of Topeka, but he was one of the first citizens of Topeka. He lived here back in the.
He was a mover and a shaker.
Yeah, when Topeka in its early ages. He was an abolitionist, and he was integral on the...
back when we only had one mall.
He was a integral part of the Underground Railroad as they brought slaves up through Kansas. He had a cave back behind his house that they hid slaves in as they were traveling. Of course, there were a lot of border ruffians that came over from Missouri, and there were battles, and what he would do is the ruffians would come over and they would loot and pillage and pretty much, because they were trying to convince
Missourians.
They were trying to convince Kansas.
We're going to rape the horses and ride off onto women.
They were trying to convince Kansas to be a free state, and so they'd come over here and.
No, they wanted Kansas to be a slave state.
I'm sorry, they wanted Kansas. Well, yeah, there were people here that wanted Kansas to be a free state. The Missourians wanted Kansas to be a slave state, so they would come over here and ransack and threaten and terrorize. And so Ritchie and his troops would basically go to the camps where the ruffians were and would steal back the stuff that they had raided. So anyway, there's a lot of history there, a lot of local history that not a lot of people probably care that much about. But I did run into a couple while I was there that was here from Washington, D.C. They had stopped through to see the Brown v. Board site, which is nationally known, and were directed to the Ritchie House. And so they came by, and they were in there at about the same time I was. Because Hale Ritchie, which is his son, has a house right next door. His house was built next door, and that's where the museum and the Shawnee County Historical Society is housed. And so you go there, and then they take you to the Ritchie House, which is locked up, and open it up because it's bare bones. I mean, it's stripped down to nothing. There's
I think I've been in that one.
There's a little bit of furniture. Yeah, I had been in there once for a story, but yeah, it was pretty interesting. And
so you
then,
didn't go to the Capitol?
I didn't go to the Capitol. That was I was going to do that because I think the majority of the interior is done, but I think I'm holding off until they get the scaffolding off the outside and just kind of do the whole thing.
You're waiting for a long time.
Yeah, no, it's done this fall. They said they'll be done before the end of the year.
I remember
Although-
them saying that 3 years ago, too.
Well, they've been saying that the Capitol would be done for, 9 years now?
and it was going to be how much it cost, and it's...
And now are they just cleaning, or are they actually replacing
They're
the
actually
entire
replacing.
The copper.
Have they found a way to coat it so that it will stay copper,
No,
or is it going
but
to turn
should
green
last-
again in a
it
couple
shouldn't.
years?
It
They're
should
not.
last...
But it'll last 50 years
Yeah, something like that.
before it starts to...
But as far as we're aware,
I don't
the
remember what
Indian
the
will still be
oxidation
green.
process is called. But yeah, the Indian's still green. Right. I know.
Okay, I retract my statement.
But it looks like it'll look pretty. It was shiny when I drove down there because you could see it from the Monroe Street. But
The Tornado 66, when it came through the F5, it actually knocked a big chunk of corrosion off the dome. There was a big old polished patch
Oh, was there?
underneath there for a while.
it wasn't the tornado. It was the winds from the tornado because the tornado actually lifted before it got to the Capitol. It would have been worse.
Mostly.
It did.
The
But it was
after effects of the tornado.
it was the inflow from the wind. But I didn't do that.
Okay.
And then I saw
I'm not going to say nothing. I'm just
the
gonna
World's
sit here
End.
quietly.
I saw the World's End on Wednesday.
And you loved it.
No,
You're so wrong.
it was okay. I think I liked it better than Hot Fuzz, but I'm not sure. It's nowhere near as good as Shaun of the Dead.
I don't think anybody...
I wanted it to be
anything really
funnier.
can be.
I really wanted it to be funnier. I thought everybody did a good job. It's a fantastic premise for a film. It borders on it would either make a great comedy or it would make a great serious sci-fi film, but it's trying to be both, and so that
think
makes
they
it
didn't
real.
flip back and
Yeah,
forth?
it makes it real awkward. So that's one of the difficult things. But then it is clearly trying to be a comedy, but there's not enough funny in it. You know, there were some funny moments that I just absolutely laughed and he at, but there weren't enough of them for being those.
I will agree. I
That
do
group
not.
of
I do
guys.
not think it's as funny as Shaun of the Dead or Hot Fuzz.
Right.
But I think it's just as strong a film, and I love the
See,
fact
I
that
disagree.
you peel some of those. Like it works on this level, but then you peel that layer back, and you've got this other kind of subtext going on with Gary King and everything that he's gone through, and some of the serious nature of it. But then you peel that back, and I think it's mirroring what they're doing as filmmakers. And I just think there's a whole
Well, I
bunch
think it
going
does,
on.
but I think that's the problem. Is I think it's too self-serving. I think it.
That I'll give you.
Yeah.
It might be one of those that you have to
So-
really be into the Cornetto trilogy in general in order to
Right.
get some of those in jokes that they've done. Not just the self-referential, but the idea of these being the same group of guys.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm familiar enough with it that I got it, but I still didn't think that was appropriate. You know, I just. Anyway, I didn't.
How many
I'm
people
glad
were in the theater when you saw it?
about a dozen of us. When I first got there, I was the only one. And that was about 5 minutes till show start. And
Wow.
There was about a dozen of us.
See, and I wonder if it's not the case. If this is if it's one of those films that just it's better with friends. I wonder if that makes the difference.
never subscribed to that theory ever. That a film has to atmosphere can add to a film, but on the core of it, it can't make it a better film. It can't make it a better movie. You can't make
Agreed.
it.
It can make some films more enjoyable to watch, especially if they're bad films.
I would agree, but
watching a bad film with the crowd is much more enjoyable than watching a
the
bad
problem
film by
is
yourself.
if there are more people enjoying it in there than I am, then I don't feel like the experience is as good because I can't understand what they see in it. So if
I can see
people are
that. I
making
can see
fun
that.
of a bad film and laughing along and laughing at the moments where they shouldn't be laughing and everybody's laughing, then yeah, that makes it an enjoyable film,
Yes.
even if it's a bad movie. But the problem is if I'm watching a film and I'm somebody's laughing at something I'm not getting, then I just go, I don't understand why you thought that was funny. I don't understand why you cheered at that point. Because
Yeah, I can see
so
that.
it doesn't matter whether there's more people that enjoy it and I don't, because it's not going to make it more enjoyable.
I
for
think
me
you're
either.
just a grumpy bear.
No. No, that's
I'm
not fair
thinking of
because
films like this. I'm
every
thinking of
time,
films
every time I'm critical about a film, you think I'm grumpy. It doesn't make any sense.
Because you're critical on all the wrong movies. We've established you have no taste, so that's.
Actually, I think we've established you have no taste because Keith and I usually have the same taste.
Yeah,
in a
but
lot
Keith
of
and I
stuff.
like a lot of the same
Well,
stuff.
that's
so.
true. You guys do like.
I think I can turn my brain off a little easier.
I think maybe that's what it is.
But I don't want to turn my brain off in a movie that.
It depends on the movie.
Well, but here's the thing.
Glenn expects everything to be Schindler's List.
No. Here's the thing: is World's End. I wanted to be able to go in there and do like Shaun of the Dead or Hot Fuzz and sort of turn my brain off and have fun. But World's End is trying to be more of a serious film.
It kept you from turning
Exactly.
your brain off.
So it keeps you from turning your brain off. So then I'm investing myself in the film, but it's not good enough to be investing in. You know what I mean? I think I went into it with higher expectations, and that's sometimes my fault. Is I go in there thinking, okay, this is going to be this, and then it's not, and then I'm let down a little bit. Because like I said, there's parts of it I enjoyed, and overall it's a fine film. I'm glad I saw it, but it wasn't as good as it should have been.
I think that's why I like Man of Steel. I was able to turn my brain off during it.
See, you shouldn't have to turn your brain off on that one either.
I didn't have to. I just did.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't need to enjoy it, I guess is the point.
You ask anybody that participated in the Flash Gordon tweet along, and I guarantee you they all thought it was more fun with friends.
That film was fun no matter what.
It is, but I think it's more fun with friends.
I think it is as well, but that's because I already enjoy the film, so when I see it for a second time, third time with people, it's enjoyable. If I'd have gone into it the first time and disliked it, it wouldn't have mattered how many times...
Kung Pao.
No, Kung Pao's a horrible movie.
No, Kung Pao's a great film. But the first time I saw it, I watched it alone, and I thought it was horrible. And then Odd Duck Phil made me watch it again, and I loved it.
Yeah. See, I disagree. I disagree with the whole funner with friends premise. If it's not already a good movie,
listeners, weigh in with your thoughts.
I think things like Snakes on a Plane, Piranha 3D,
but no, those are bad movies, though. That I can understand where Glenn's coming from because those are bad
that is
films.
a film that I can sit down and everybody agrees that it's bad, and so you pan it, and so that makes it fun. That's my point. When it's a film that you go into and it shouldn't be a bad movie, and then you're not enjoying it. You're not going to enjoy it anymore if there's other people there that aren't enjoying it.
See, I guess I've never had an experience where I enjoyed a movie more that wasn't supposed to be bad like that because I had people with me.
Yeah. The problem is I always go to films with a bunch of people that I already know I'm going to enjoy the film, or I do end up enjoying the film. So,
unless it's Into Darkness.
Or Man of Steel. You went to see Man of Steel with a bunch of people.
We went to see Into Darkness, and you sat there like this.
Just on a couple of spots.
Yeah.
Overall,
every time I looked over at you.
Overall, it was an enjoyable movie. There was just a few of those cringe moments where I went, "Oh no!"
Did you hear? Did I tell you guys the story about the Vegas convention?
I saw it online.
Into Darkness. They ranked the Star Trek films at the official Star Trek convention in Las Vegas, and Into Darkness placed 13th out of 12 Star Trek films.
Lord, what placed under it? Undiscovered Country.
No. Nothing.
What?
It came in dead last.
Oh, it came in last.
13th out of 12.
13th out of 12. I got you.
Now think about that for a minute. 13th out of 12 Star Trek films.
So what did they put in there above it?
Galaxy Quest.
Oh.
They threw Galaxy Quest in as a Star Trek film, and it ranked higher than several of the Star Trek films.
That's just silliness.
It ranked higher than Final Frontier.
That's completely wrong. That's
okay.
Ranked lower
so
than Final
here's the
Frontier.
list. Number 13, Star Trek Into Darkness. Number 12, Final Frontier. 11, Insurrection. 10, Nemesis. 9, The Motion Picture. 8, Generations. 7, Galaxy Quest. 6,
that's just stupid.
The 2009 Star Trek. 3 is Search for Spock. 4 is Voyage Home.
5-4.
5. What?
5-4-3.
You're going backwards now. Yeah, you went 3, 4, 5.
3.
Well, number 1 was Wrath of Khan. I mean, there's going to be no getting
and 2
around
was
that.
First Contact.
And 1 was Wrath of Khan.
3 was Undiscovered
I would
Country.
agree with the top 3.
I don't understand why Generations is that high on that list.
Yeah, Generations is awful high. But
I don't understand why Nemesis isn't higher.
I understand why Trekkers feel like the need to throw Galaxy Quest in and everything.
I think that was probably just something fun that the organizers did, because it is technically a Star Trek film.
It's not.
It is.
It's spoofing
It's
Star
a spoof of Star Trek.
Well, there you go. It's more of a Star Trek film. It's more of a Star Trek film than Man of Steel was a Superman film.
All right, I'm going to argue with you on that.
Because he knows he'd lose.
What else did I do this week? I played disc golf with Sean on Thursday.
Looks like you guys had some fun with the GoPro.
We did.
We did have some fun.
Although I only saw that on Google Plus.
You posted it to
It
Facebook,
posted
I
it, well, because Google owns YouTube, as soon as you upload to YouTube, it automatically uploads it to Google Plus, and then I had to go around and post it in 10 different places to get it to feed to everywhere else.
See, I never saw it anywhere else. I
That's
never
on
saw
my
the
Facebook
video.
page.
think the first place I saw it was on Facebook.
Yeah, I don't know why. I saw it on Google Plus first. Go Google Plus.
If you'd like to see some fun video of us scooping off with
Unless
the
you went and
GoPro.
shared it after Saturday, because Saturday morning was when I saw it.
Well, I did it all.
All that
How'd
same
you
day.
become a Google Plus convert, by the way? You're always on there now.
Got bored.
Got bored.
I'm really not on there that often.
I don't like
I go like once a day, and then doing the ABCs of. I just make sure to post. I just make a point of posting there whenever I do, and whenever I go, it takes me like 5 seconds to scroll through no posts. I'm serious.
Maybe I should switch over to Google Plus because I'd have such a shorter social media experience than getting sucked into
You would
Facebook for
never
4
miss
hours.
anything.
Holly was off Thursday and Friday, and then the kids and Holly and I went to Goonie Golf. Well, it is Goonie Golf, but mini golf. The other night.
Goofy golf?
That was pretty much the most of
Is
it.
it Goofy golf or Goonie golf?
Goonie Golf, isn't it?
The official designation is Goofy Golf, but I think that's copyrighted, which is why ours is Goonie.
Really?
I've never even heard of Goofy Golf. Ours is Goonie Golf. That's what I've always heard it of it as Goonie Golf. Anyway, miniature golf.
Well, no, that's not the same.
Yeah, it is Goonie. Huh.
Goonie Golf has animals and
It's all
windmills.
miniature. It's all miniature golf.
It's all
Right.
miniature golf.
But miniature golf
That's what I'm
is
saying.
the...
Technically,
No.
according to the website,
Yeah.
Goonie golf is the animals, trees, flowers, and most of all fun. The other is just putter golf.
Putter golf, yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's all miniature golf, but one half of our thing is putter golf, and the other half is Goonie golf. So.
I haven't been there in
Well,
forever.
but if you tell me you went and played miniature golf, I'm assuming you played the boring course. But if you go and say, I played Goonie golf,
No, I just
you
said,
were there
I
with
did-
the
I
upside
just
down
said-
bear.
I don't know why I
Why'd
just
you
did
take a picture?
I was trying to
You like
select.
my shirt?
No, I was trying to select a photo. Oh, that's Mason.
That was you.
That's Mason. That's going to keep playing it. This is Mason playing this Avengers game we
Did you
checked
find it?
out at the library.
Oh.
I can't stop it, though. It's like my phone's locking up. There it goes.
So you went and played Goonie golf.
Stupid Siri.
That wasn't serious. Well,
That
was
flash is
Instagram.
bright.
Everything on Siri is
There we go.
Siri's fault.
now we're good.
Everything on your phone is Siri's fault. So he went and played Goonie golf.
Yep. That was pretty much it. What'd you guys do this week?
Sean, did you do anything?
I played disc golf with Glenn.
You did. I remember that.
And we
hot.
no, it wasn't too
No,
bad.
it wasn't bad. We went early, though, so.
You went like at crack of dawn.
That's why you didn't get the invite. we were out there
we
by...
knew you would go, so.
Well,
we
I
didn't
guess it was-
I
bother.
wouldn't have heard it.
It was probably 9:30 by the time we got through all the construction and everything and got out there. But
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But it was still wasn't that warm. I mean, it was still pretty.
It was
still
humid
early
by the time
enough.
we finished.
Yeah,
I was glad I
it was
bought some
quite humid
Gatorade,
by the
but-
time we finished.
that's the thing this summer here in Kansas. It's really... I'm really grateful this year hasn't been as overbearingly, oppressively hot as it was last year, you know, where we had that string of like 17 days. It was 110.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it would
We
be-
haven't had that this year.
No.
Knock
But
on
the
wood.
humidity seems like it's been
Yeah.
a lot worse this year.
Yeah, knock on wood, exactly.
The humidity's just been unbearable. But yeah, we went and played that and had some fun.
That's what happens when it actually rains.
Yeah, that's true.
Last year we had no
We had-
rain.
we had
It was
no
a
rain
drought.
last
True.
And when we played around with the GoPro, which for those of you that don't know, it's the little miniature indestructible camera. Well, nearly indestructible. I haven't broken it yet.
Oh,
So.
I was expecting a story there.
Nearly indestructible. Let me tell you about this.
So when you put it to the disc, it looked like it just went.
It did. Well, I think what we need to do
Did you
is
put it on the edge?
No,
No,
I
right
had
in the middle.
it was suction cupped to the disc, but the suction cup mount is like this big tall thing that comes up like this. So it was way. I mean, it was like this tall on the disc. So there was no way it was going to work. I think what we need to do is we need to just duct tape it straight down to the disc and see what happens then. I think that might.
It's going to have something on there to hold it down. So
Yeah. the suction cups. Well, and then the suction cup wouldn't stick to anything else. So it's like, I'm glad I tested it before I tried to mount it to my car going down the highway.
But you said that, but you realize it wasn't sticking to that sign because it was, you had that 8 on there, and you have to have a pretty
That's a piece of tape.
You
on
still
metal.
have to have
It's
no
not gonna
raised
be-
surface whatsoever. We found that out when we were shooting Tough Grit stuff.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I licked every sign out there, and the suction cup wouldn't stick to any of them.
Lick the sign.
Oh, is that what I'm doing?
I can just see you though. Why is this not working?
I licked the disc. I
He
licked the
did.
tree. I licked.
And then I don't remember what I did, but I stuck my hand up there on the sun and I said, "Why is this wet?"
The
Seen
misadventures.
Lilo and Stitch.
Much like the doctor.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was tasting it. So yeah, if you want to go see some fun video, you can. You can just go to my website.
I really like the train.
Isn't that cool?
We didn't do that together.
No, we didn't do that together. I did that before we met up with them, but that was the first thing I did with it because I thought, oh, I know what I want to do. I don't know how. I have no idea what I'm going to do with that footage. I wanted a shot of the underside.
have it.
I wanted a shot of the underside of the train.
Once it actually worked, it was great.
Yeah, the first one was a little rocky. The second one was a little worse. The third one.
Oh, there was 3 tries on that?
Well, he came coming around the corner before I was ready. So it was just kind of propped up there. And the train went and rotated and vibrated off.
Well, that would have made some good video.
No. You'd have thought
It would
so.
have made it entertaining.
No.
Better than just going black.
Because that's what happened. It vibrated and it tipped over. So then it was just recording black, you could hear the train, but you couldn't see it. So then the second one, I mounted it on there, and I was continuing it because it was at a little angle. I don't know why. So I kept grabbing it, trying to adjust it. Well, apparently when I adjusted it, it went and put it way up high. And then the train came by and went, turned the camera off. But the third one stayed right. And it was awesome. So yeah, if you go to sunstormentertainment.com and then go to projects, I think is the one that's under, just scroll all the way down to the bottom, you can see Glenn and I attempting to play disc golf. And that's my favorite part of that. Glenn, aim for the camera. Glenn, aim for the camera. One of these has got to hit the camera. And then he did hit the camera.
How many putts did I make in, though, before we started?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of great putts.
You were awesome.
Until he puts the damn camera on the thing.
Yeah, that
would always work.
Yeah.
He got gun shy.
It did.
Now, what did we shoot? You scored a 78?
I thought I saw 74, 72.
Oh, maybe it was 72, 74.
No, cause I was 76 because my best is 75.
Then I must
and
have been
real close. You were slightly above her, but not much. But yeah,
I was only 2.
I was beating him on the
behind.
fairways, but he was putting like mad.
Saved cards. Here we go. Yeah, 78, 76. You were 78. Or I was 78, you were 76.
So there's that. But yeah, we did that, and then I worked a lot. We had our Labor Day sale going on at work this weekend, and so I worked a close Thursday, and I was there for like 12 hours, and then I was there for 12 hours on Friday, and then I was there for 12 hours on Saturday, and then I opened and closed today, and my back hurts, and I'm tired and grumpy.
So you're the grumpy bear.
Yeah, I'm a very grumpy bear. I love sale weekends. I really love the energy and the excitement of getting all those people in there, and just this mass rush. I really do. There's something wrong with me that I enjoy that. My problem is
Better to go and work.
I
and get
only
bored.
enjoy it for the first 12 hours, and then it's kind of like, I'm done with you people. Get out and go home. And every night was, hey, let's hang out in the store until an hour after they close before we decide to make our purchase of $2.98. It's like, get out. I really want to ask people, it's like, where do you work? Oh, I work here. Oh, really? When's your next day working? This day? What time do you close? I'm coming to see you. And I'm bringing a book. And we'll see how well you like it. Be nice to the retail folks, guys. Get out when they turn off the music. It's an indicator. When the vacuum cleaners come out, it's kind of that not-so-subtle symbol that maybe you should move along. When 4 people are standing around the counter swearing, you overstayed your welcome. But yeah, so we're having, it continues tomorrow. So if there's a vintage stock in your area, go. I won't be going because I'm done. But
You're off tomorrow.
I'm off tomorrow. I'm off because of school.
You just didn't tell him you wouldn't have school on Monday.
No, I didn't tell him. If I told him I didn't have school on Monday, you know where I'd be tomorrow?
Working.
I'd be working.
Keith, what'd you do?
Not a lot. I worked your
Worked
shift.
my shift.
I caught up on a couple shows that I fell behind on from Sarah being sick and Lego Lord of the Rings. Finally finished Continuum Season 2, which was really good.
They're already in Season 2 of that show?
Yeah, Season 2 just
Well,
ended.
you told me I needed to catch up on it to be able to talk to you, and for a moment I kind of thought, oh, it's only one season. Maybe I could
said
knock
it's
that
2
out.
seasons. It's only 24 episodes. 26 episodes total. It's so good.
I say.
I was blown away by the finale.
What's that on? What's that air on?
Guy? It's also on Sci-Fi. It's a Canadian show
Swiffy.
initially.
Space.
Yeah,
It's on
Space.
Swiffy.
Swiffy. And so, the Season 2 finale was Friday on Sci-Fi.
Ooh, that one looks promising.
Ooh.
No, that one's definitely blueberry. That's blue.
Yeah.
The one I had was purple. It
Also was
blue.
behind on Under the Dome and caught up on that. Finished off True Blood.
Is it still good?
It's still good.
Under the Dome?
It's still good.
Because I'll be honest, I haven't watched an episode since they announced a Season 2, and I feel really bad for betraying it, but at the same time, I can't get myself excited to watch it anymore.
No, I'm glad it's going to have a Season 2 now.
Really?
I don't think they would have wrapped it up.
Well-
It needs only 2 seasons, but
All right.
it's getting interesting.
Because the cow getting sliced in half wasn't
All this
interesting.
TV you guys watch that I just don't have time for TV.
And then Saturday didn't really do much. Today, Sarah and I made a trek all the way to Olathe, Overland Park, for a yarn shop that was closed.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
You got there and it was closed?
It was the website says open on Sundays, but it was closed because of Labor Day.
Labor Day holiday, huh?
Okay, that one's supposed to be rotten egg, and it's actually kind of close. I finally got a bad one.
Oh. We're still eating our Bernie Bott's every flavor beans.
But we did stop because
Thank you, Brenda.
this yarn shop was on Metcalf. So we ended up going, it was right off Metcalf. So we ended up following Metcalf down, stumbled across the vintage stock that we've gone to before, went in there. They had some...
There's a sale going on.
But there wasn't any sale on Who stuff.
There wasn't any hail on
Sale
Who
on
stuff?
on Who stuff.
Anything used would have been on sale.
There was no used stuff.
Oh, well.
I guess the action figures would have been on sale, but they were the small, crappy ones, the new line.
I still haven't seen those.
They look like crap. They look horrible. Absolutely horrible. And then that place is right next to where Planet Comic Con used to be, right? It was just the other side of 435 was Planet Comic Con.
Yeah.
I don't know where vintage stock is, so I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Sean?
The International Center is where...
Yeah, that's
International
what,
Convention Center.
That's
Wow,
off
okay.
Metcalf, yeah.
$4! One direction, I don't know which. There's a Fazoli's.
Oh, yeah, that's right
Yeah.
there next
I didn't know that's where it
Oh, I
was.
didn't
Dude, you didn't know
There's
there was a Fazoli's there?
I knew there was a Fazoli's in Kansas City. I didn't know where.
Well, there's two. There's one in Independence, but it's all the way on the other side of the thing. And then there's one in...
Independence is not Kansas City.
Why did we not
Neither's
go to
Overland
Fazoli's
Park.
after Planet Comic Con
Overland Park
those
is
2
Kansas
years?
I did one year.
Oh, I wasn't.
I invited you guys.
Independence
I
is
wasn't
so
with
far
you.
away, it's practically not Kansas City anymore.
So now, next time we go up for a Doctor Who
Okay.
day at Vintage Stock, we're going to Fazoli's.
I'm going to draw you a map here, Glenn. Here's Kansas City, okay? From your perspective, all right? So, Topeka's over here. Yes, Independence is pretty much as far as you can get from Kansas City. But you know what? So's Overland Park.
It's just the other direction.
It's just the other direction.
No, I mean,
You just spend more time in Overland
from
Park.
where I'm at,
Yes.
that is the furthest away.
That I'll give you.
That's so far away that it's no longer Kansas City. to
At
me.
that point, you might as well go to Omaha.
Yeah.
Go to Fazoli's.
Exactly.
And then we made our way through Lawrence on the way back, stopping at Hastings and whatnot. And that's pretty much it. It was a good weekend, but we didn't do much. Didn't watch any movies like we planned. Got a whole stack.
Oh,
That happens.
You know what it was?
Guy at work let us
Oh,
borrow
you know what else I watched?
2 more movies.
Sean will love this. I finally saw the last Twilight movie.
Oh, good God.
Holly rented it.
I'll stop you ahead of time.
Here's
It's
the-
not for me!
Here's the funny thing is, though, I've seen all the Twilight films. Holly was a fan of the books. She likes the movies. And the first Twilight we saw right after it came out on video because we weren't certain. No, I think I saw that in the theater. I saw it in the theater. With her. And then we saw the second one in the theater.
I made fun of you then.
It was the third one that we waited until it went on DVD. But we saw it right after it came to DVD. And then the third one, or the fourth one, was the same way because the fourth book is actually split into two movies, and it was the same way. We, as soon as it came out on Blu-ray, we went and saw it. This one was out last Christmas.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
And we still hadn't seen it yet. Holly said, "You know what? We need to see this." So, it's like the last one. You know, it was fine. It's none of it's my cup of tea. It is what it is. It was certainly better than the last two, I think. But
we have a stack like 6 high of movies we need to watch on the coffee table with Lincoln, Life of Pi, which I got from the library.
Life of Pi is so good.
Lincoln's really good too.
The Adjustment Bureau, which it's Julian's and we got it from Sean.
It's also good.
That one I don't know. What is that one?
It's that Matt Damon
being
Emily
chased
Blunt
by people movie.
Oh, the Bourne Identity 5.
Yeah.
Perks of Being a Wallflower and Silver Linings Playbook.
It's based on a story by Philip K. Dick. So all of a sudden it jumps way up there on the list of cool factor.
So says you.
I like Philip K. Dick stuff. Philip K. Dick has not made a bad movie yet.
I don't think he's made any movies,
including the crappy Colin Farrell remake of Total Recall.
His stories have inspired movies.
He hasn't made a bad movie yet. No, we watched FX and FX2. I had never seen those.
Wow.
Yeah, Mel's. I'd seen parts of FX, but I'd never seen it in its entirety. So Mel, we said it was like 2 Mel's favorite
FX2
movies.
is horrible.
You know,
FX is really good.
I liked FX. I liked, despite the fact that the plot scenario to get him into the situation is completely ridiculous.
That's the problem.
I think I actually liked FX2 better.
What?
I really think I maybe did. I like them both. I like the fact that they kind of pulled a Karate Kid with it, because the first one is not Rory, Roland, whatever his character's name is. The first one is his story, and the second one's Brian Dennehy's character's story, which I kind of liked the semblance of the balance of that. But I enjoyed both of them. I thought they were good. And then I watched Home on the Range, which I had not seen yet.
The Disney movie?
The Disney movie. That's how far behind I am on those. So I watched it, and
everybody gives that a bad rap. I didn't think it was that bad.
I don't think I was looking forward to it. And it started, and there were singing and dancing and cows, and I was like, "This is going to rock! I'm really excited about this." And then Roseanne Barr showed up. Kind of went down a little bit. Judi Dench brought it back up a little bit. Rainey Quaid's the bad guy that brought it up really far, and I wound up really enjoying it.
Yeah, it's a fine film.
Goofy.
It's not one of those ones that I can watch over and over again. But a lot of people pan it, and they really put it down, and I think it was fun.
They pan it unnecessarily. It's a completely different flavor from... I'm going to nod and wink every time we say that. It's not... It's beef flavor instead of chicken. It's not your normal ramen noodles here.
It's like the mushrooms.
Well, Disney kind of has a blueprint from each era of Disney film, the Robin Hood and Sleeping Beauty and those, they kind of have a blueprint that they follow, and there's going to be a song and dance number at some point in time in the middle of the film.
How did you pick the two most opposite films in the spectrum of Disney films?
They didn't go through an anthropomorphic animal phase, and then there was the princess
and then an enchanted objects phase.
Well, but like I said, you look at the new wave.
There are two good examples of two different eras.
You look at the new wave of
Disney... I got that.
Okay. You look at the new wave of Disney classics where we had Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella and Lion King, and those kind of all follow that style. Something's going on in the bedroom. They all kind of follow that. I mean, they're all good, but they all kind of follow that thing. And then you kind of get into the later versions of things like Emperor's New Groove and Lilo and Stitch, and they kind of have that weird kind of oddball irreverence thing, but they also still kind of have that pattern to it. Home on the Range didn't...
I think it still does.
I didn't think
so. I think
so.
It still has that Disney flavor.
It's
underlying of it.
It's still new Disney
flair,
but it's different from the other new Disney that had come out. So I don't know. I liked it. I didn't like Roseanne Barr.
I don't know. I think they were batting the same score they were from probably Treasure Planet, and
I still
they
haven't
were
seen that one.
they were all in that same vein of Disney's trying to reinvent its brand of animated films without changing its core formula. So I think.
Oh,
it's still-
Sherbert. That was a potent one. Wow. Yeah, I guess I forgot about Treasure Planet, which is another one I like, but it to me doesn't feel like.
Yeah. And it feels, I think, the least Disney to me
Yeah.
of all of the modern era films.
Oh, Lemon.
But anyway, so yeah, we watched those. Sorry, you said movies, and I went, oh yeah, I did do that this week.
We got spend 38 minutes on what we did.
Well, somebody had a staycation, and
I did have a long one. All right, well, let's move on to news. I guess the first bit of news is mine, isn't it?
I have it pulled up too.
Oh, okay.
If you
Well,
want
go
to read
ahead.
it.
I let Glenn read it.
All right.
You
10th
never read
Planet script has been unearthed. It's a draft script, but only a draft script in the sense that there are some changes from what aired. The script was from William Hartnell's last story, The 10th Planet, of course. It was found recently when I think it was Michael Seeley is writing a biography about Kit Pedler, who wrote a lot of the Cybermen, the early Cybermen stories. He found the script along with a draft of the Moon Base, which was known as the Return of the Cybermen at the time. I don't know if anybody knew that. But anyway, one of the marked differences of the 10th Planet, there are a few, but one of the most obvious difference is the fact that there's no regeneration at the end of the story. And that comes from the fact that Hartnell had not decided whether to leave or not until after the script was written. So they quickly did a rewrite at the end so he could depart the show. So,
Pretty neat.
one of the other things I thought was interesting was that that Polly and the Doctor are imprisoned in a waiting area to be converted to Cybermen at one point as well, which does not come to fruition in the televised story as well. Transmitted story. But anyway, bit of history, which I guess if they were able to procure it soon enough, it could be PDF material for the disc. I don't know if they're too far along with production on that. Because, as
They
we
just
know now,
released the date.
we know there's a release date, American release date.
Yes, November 19th is when it will come out. And we
That
got
is
box art for it
that
too.
is the week of the
Anniversary.
50th anniversary
The Tuesday before.
itself. So
So
And we
you're,
also have a list of bonus features.
you're all going to want to run out and buy that. It's not on the schedule for the week of the 50th,
Dibs.
but
Dibs?
it will be.
You can
after.
go buy it if you want.
Oh.
But for the group, I'm buying
you're
it.
definitely getting it. Okay,
It's a Cyberman story. Of course, Keith's
Yeah.
going to buy it.
It's the first Cyberman story. Of course, I'm going to buy it.
dibs.
But you haven't bought the first Canine story yet.
That's because you already owned it.
It's true. If he's going to buy something, he's going to buy something that we'll have us collectively.
But yeah, it will be on the week after the 50th anniversary. So
What are some of the special features on there? Just quickly.
Something called Frozen Out, an episode 4 VHS reconstruction.
Which I
that
thought
William
was
Hartnell
interesting.
interview we talked about a couple weeks ago.
That was unearthed recently.
Something called Doctor Who Stories, and N.K. Wills. Something called The Golden Age, Boys, Blue Peter.
It's 2-disc set, isn't it?
It is a 2-disc.
Yeah.
Boys feature looks interesting. Do you guys see that one?
This list doesn't have a description of the bonus features; just has what they're called.
Boys. They've done several of these that are called Girls, and it's like the girls of the '60s or the '70s, or it's all the companions.
Oh.
Boys is, I think, Ian and Peter and Turlo
Steven.
and maybe Steven. I'm not sure who else part of this particular group, but it's those
Well,
guys
I'm-
coming together talking about their.
Oh, I see. That I thought maybe it was
It's male
doing like an era
companions.
there.
Yeah, no, I don't think they did it in era because they were so sparse. But I think it's just
Well,
it's a bunch of the male
Steven's still around,
companions.
isn't
So
I don't know.
Are they talking about the time on it, or is it just kind of recapping of who
I
are
think
these
both.
people? Okay.
Oh, very cool. Well, Fraser Hines should have been involved with that too. He's still around.
oh, speaking of, did you see that picture?
Oh, where he went to go visit the
He went to the
experience?
experience, and they have a picture of Fraser in front of the Adventures in Time and Space console. Because that
No,
would have been.
I
you haven't seen it.
I didn't see it. No.
And there's
So-
also a picture of him with Two's costume.
Fraser Hines went to the experience, and somebody took a picture of him with the console from Adventure in Time and Space.
Neat.
It's really cool.
Cool. I'll have to look for that.
Because that would be his console.
I'll put that on the show notes.
It's online somewhere.
It's online somewhere. I'm sure it is.
I don't know where.
And people wonder why we're
We never claimed
less
to be
facts
a
than
news.
Doctor Confidential. It's online somewhere. Go look it up yourself. We're not going to put it in the show notes.
You're on your own.
Sean thought it was interesting. That kind of lets you know what we rank the news at.
All right.
You had another bit of
well, no,
news.
I'll add that on there so other people can see it, and I'll get a look at it as well.
I thought it was a cool picture.
Sean had some weird, strange secret news that he was bringing to.
Wait, sorry.
Here's
There's one
something
more
else
thing.
that
wait.
I didn't know.
Oh.
I don't know if this is taking your thunder away.
No, go ahead.
BBC has recently responded again to the 50th complaints.
50 complaints.
The 50th complaints.
Oh, okay. I say they only got 50.
Overall, the perceived lack of advertising for the 50th anniversary.
Oh, rats,
special.
we ticked over 50. Now we have to release a statement. If it was 49, we could have just ignored it.
Over the weekend,
Wait, people are complaining?
because there haven't been any advertising.
trailer.
yet. We haven't got the trailer. yet.
Everybody's upset that
We
there's still
demand
no
a trailer.
We demand a trailer.
Yeah, because
We-
the proms aired on Monday, and
There was no
a lot
trailer.
of people expected it to be there.
We're fans. We have a right to things.
We're privileged.
Yes, they all think they're privileged. They said, we can assure you our 50th celebrations will be in no way be muted, and we'll have details soon, but for now, trust us, you won't miss our celebrations, promise.
That's too bad that the BBC had to do that.
And
because
then-
I'm actually kind of embarrassed for fandom. Because while I'm
It's
excited
ridiculous.
and I want to see the 50th anniversary trailer, the BBC, they don't owe us anything. I mean, we know we're going to get a 50th. We know we're going to get some advertisement leading up to it. So.
They owe us 92 episodes that they threw out. That's what they owe us.
And when asked specifically about the 50th anniversary on Twitter, they replied, oh, we're going to give you so much more than a trailer. Patience. It's worth the wait, we promise.
I did see
On
this
November
week.
23rd, we're going to get way more than a trailer.
I did see this week that they've sort of let
And then-
flow the fact that they're doing a clip show.
The BBC Three produced
Yes.
clip show.
Yeah, so that'll be kind of
retrospective.
fun, so.
Well, it's more than what
Yeah,
BBC has been doing.
Okay.
And then BBC went and released an original British drama trailer. Doesn't feature Doctor Who at all. I think that's just the funniest stuff.
Boy, they just
Features
Well, they're
asked.
Sherlock.
saving it back.
Well, you know
And
what they've
it
done now.
features
Guys.
a clip of Peter Capaldi in The Musketeers that's coming out.
Well, you know what they did? They sold Television Center, so nobody knows where to go pick it now. They're being very smart. They can do whatever they want, because what are the villagers with the
what's-
pitchforks and
what's
the
their
torches
address
going
in
to show
Cardiff
up?
now? What's the-
No, that's the Doctor Who. We can't burn that down. But we
No, here's the thing, guys. This is me being very hopeful. I think we're not getting anything out of the 50th because I think that there's some big surprise they've been able to hold on to, and they're holding their cards as close to their chest as they can, because I really don't think.
No, at this point, I kind of don't want a trailer.
I kind of want to be surprised myself, all the way up to the
I
very,
want nothing.
very
I
bitter
want
end.
nothing.
Absolutely.
I
I really think they're holding something
I
that,
really hope-
that is going to be a real big surprise. Now, I hope I'm not let
Zygons.
down. Well, I know the Zygons, right? We've seen set pics of that.
but we don't know the involvement.
I still think it's going to be
David Tennant.
I still think
Billy Piper.
I still think that the Zygons is going to be a pre
And then he's going to die and regenerate as
sequence, and that's it. And then the rest of his Daleks.
I guess we do know they're in that
Yeah.
too.
Okay, Matt Smith should die. Not Matt Smith. The doctor. Matt Smith's doctor should die.
I can't believe you just said that.
His
Thoughts and
doctor should
opinions.
die. And he should regenerate into David Tennant. And then David Tennant should immediately trip over something and die.
And regenerate into John Hurt.
And regenerate into John. Or yeah, we could go backwards. I don't care who he just.
Because they would complain even more, because some could see, I could see people finding Peter Capaldi sexier than John Hurt.
Ooh, that's a tough call.
I'm
Is
sorry, I don't
John
think
Hurt
John Hurt is an attractive
not
as a man.
not as sexy as Peter Capaldi?
I refuse to engage in this conversation of who's sexier, John Hurt or Peter Capaldi.
We have to give the ladies some. Now, if this was a
I
session who's
refuse
sexier
to
between Leela
engage in a
and Joe, you would be all over it.
I'm perfectly comfortable in my sexuality. I'm
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
but I refuse to engage in who's sexier. We've gone down another road.
What was your surprise news, Sean?
Send in your comments. We want to know.
All the
chime
ladies
in.
listening.
Absolutely. It doesn't matter. Ladies or guys, I don't care. If you want to chime in, I refuse to engage in this right now.
He hasn't
You want
formed
it to
a
be
first opinion
part
yet.
of your review. I haven't.
He's
I
fence
haven't
riding.
decided.
He's
Because
waiting.
I'm afraid
I
I'm
need to
going
see
to have.
what both their costumes are going to be.
He's
I'm
waiting
gonna-
for that firm verdict to come out so he knows which side to
Listen,
jump on.
I'm afraid that you guys will jump all over me for saying that Peter Capaldi's a much better looking guy than John Hurt.
I think Peter Capaldi is too.
If you're going to pin me down, I think I'm going to be in the same boat.
Wasn't pinning anybody down.
No, I
I
just-
sucked myself into that conversation.
Pure physicality, I would say that I think Peter Capaldi's probably a little sexier than John Hurt. But John Hurt's got that charisma, that geek charisma of Alien
he's got the
and
nerd cred,
Space.
yes.
Yeah, I mean, he's got nerd cred.
That's
He's got
about
nerd
it.
cred.
That's
I
not
wouldn't
the
say
same.
geek charisma.
Okay.
It's nerd cred.
All right, he's
That's
got
what it
nerd cred. Nerd cred is very sexy. That's why we goo and ga over David Warner.
I don't find David Warner sexy. I just think he's awesome.
There, see?
No, that's what I'm
nerd
saying.
cred.
That's what I'm saying. If we're gonna
That's not geek charisma. That's nerd
if we're
cred.
gonna go through that trolling the Tenet fangirls because they're the same ones complaining.
Oh, now
about,
I follow what you're saying. He should
Did you
regenerate.
get what I was saying?
He should
Okay,
regenerate
thank you.
he should regenerate into the ugly guy. Is what you're
Yes.
saying? Okay.
No offense to John Hurt. Yes.
We're gonna have him on the show.
I know for a
once.
fact
We're
that
gonna
John
get big enough
listens to this program, and now he is offended.
He's gonna be
I can just
offended. We'll never
imagine the
get
fangirl reaction if that happened.
I really have to do this, but thoughts and opinions of Keith are not necessarily that.
I think it would be awesome. The squee heard round the world, followed by the scream of anguish.
It would do that anyway.
It would be right on top of each other. It would be awesome.
That's how we got there. I couldn't remember how we got there.
That's where I was going with that.
All right.
I was on the same wavelength as
Sean, what's your
All right,
surprise?
I have
news?
surprise news. We, that Traveling the Vortex, would officially like to welcome to the ranks the newest Whovian, Samantha Ray Tivis.
Oh yes, I didn't see
6
that.
pounds, 14 ounces, 20 inches long, was born
Oh.
yesterday at 10:55 a.m.
Didn't click who that would be. You didn't say
Samantha Ray, who
Odd duck.
Odd duckling.
we will reference as Odd Duckling Tivis. Odd Duck Phil is a proud papa.
Congratulations, Phil.
And
This is his first child, right?
He's
a stepfather.
He's a stepfather. This is his first, yes. And I thought this was very interesting. Samantha Ray, and he sent me a text, said he was going to call her Brianna Blessed Tivis, but he lost the coin toss.
Brianna, I love it. Brianna Blessed.
And this little side note here, he said, had the wife, this was the day before, he said, had the wife watch Blink today. She said we can add Doctor Who to our watch list as long as they're not all that creepy and intense.
Hey!
I thought maybe you were
that
going to
means
say
two
she
new.
wished she had named the child Sally Sparrow.
No. But you know what this means. I mean,
No. What does it mean?
let's break this down.
Enlighten us.
Pregnant wife watches Blink. Wife's not pregnant anymore. Blink induces labor. The weeping angels scared the baby out of her.
So, ladies, if you're overdue
Don't
and you're really
induce.
wanting that baby out, watch labor-inducing Blink.
That's how they're going to market it. The box set's going to come out. Doctor Who
Labor-inducing.
Season 3, now with labor-inducing properties. So, I thought that. And there's a little picture. Isn't she cute?
Aww.
And his caption on this is that her first word was
She looks
bollocks.
like a Brianna, though. I think it should have been Brianna Blessed.
Yeah, Brianna Blessed. Her first word was bollocks. So he's raising her right. And Phil, we couldn't be happier, and I'm really, really glad that she takes after her mother and is cute. So that's.
I commented on his picture on Facebook, and I resisted the urge to type odd duck. Because nobody else in the Facebook comment feed would probably get
They think you were insulting them. No, she's Odd Duckling.
Odd duckling.
So.
Very good.
So that's our happy news.
All right, well, let's move on then now to feedback. That's what we call a kicker, by the way.
Is that what that is?
That is a good kicker.
News at the end of the show.
That's a 9 o'clock news kicker.
No, that's a 10 o'clock news kicker.
That's a 10 o'clock news
That's a
kicker.
kicker regardless.
After all that really heavy drama.
On Friday, I ran because they're running
really
good
lighten that
kickers.
mood,
I ran a kicker about how the black hole in the Milky Way doesn't eat as much as we thought it did, and they didn't get it. They're like, I don't understand what we just read.
Bored.
The only day I was able to even run a kicker.
And they didn't get it.
So now
Matt tries to explain it to Jared, and Jared still doesn't quite get it.
I got to back up here a step. So
Well, it's
we've
not surprising.
we've had amazing birth announcements. We've talked who's sexier, Peter Capaldi, or this is a 9 o'clock news show. This is not a 10 o'clock heavy.
This is more of a 5 o'clock news shot. We're talking about sexy doctors and
No,
stuff.
it's a 9 o'clock too.
No.
It's a morning show.
It's a
5
morning
o'clock,
show.
5 o'clock, no, 5 o'clock's that ladies reading.
It's targeted to ladies, yeah.
Well, we're at 5 o'clock then. I don't know what you're talking about heavy, but I shouldn't have
I
done
just said
that.
it was a kicker. I didn't say it was any particular show.
We're not always that. In
All right, well, our first bit of feedback.
we did not get electronically.
Oh, this.
We didn't get a song this week either.
I was working. Thanks for calling me out.
Well, I didn't want people.
mentioned it ahead
I didn't
of
want
time.
people to get like halfway into feedback and go,
Hey, wait a minute.
"Where's the song?"
Well, maybe that was my plan. Maybe I had a song. And,
Well, that was that one week.
you know,
He did
I
have a
was gonna-
Labor
I
Day
was gonna
sale this week.
Fool you all with that. But here's a song. Today has sucked. You sent us feedback, and I'm happy. Yeah. I mean, see, you wouldn't have been happy with that.
Jazz hands.
From the home office in Sioux City, Iowa. Actually, from Powder Springs, Georgia. Powder Springs, you lied to us. You always claimed you were from Atlanta, Brenda. She's hiding out. I should have announced that.
Witness protection.
Witness protection is now knocking on the door. We need to move you because apparently you talked to some dumb podcast and they spoiled it.
Afraid we're changing your name.
Yeah.
We're moving you.
She's
to
probably
the
not
UK.
60 either.
We're sending you to Cumri.
Because you can pronounce it.
She'd be like, all right, Cumri.
Okay.
I'll have a bag packed in a few minutes.
To be fair to Brenda, I just Googled it. Powder Springs.
You didn't IMDb it?
I did not IMDb it.
It's like the Overland Park of Kansas City.
Pretty much. Or like the Silver Spring, Maryland to the D.C.
Ah,
Because that's where my sister lives.
I got you.
For other people.
So it's like the
We need a
Oakland
map.
of Topeka?
It's like the Bronx of New York.
Yeah, it's like the Bronx of New York.
It's like Cardiff of London?
Pretty much.
No, not anything like that.
It's like India and Canada.
Our UK viewers, our listeners think we have no clue.
Idiots.
Cardiff of London.
Apparently, I've watched Torchwood. All you have to do is go across that bridge.
Gavin and Stacey, isn't it like a 2-hour trip or something like that? Don't they talk about it being like
I
2
only watched
hours?
that's
between-
two
TV
episodes.
time. That doesn't count.
What? You've still only watched 2 episodes? Oh, guess what? The other seasons are on Amazon Prime.
You know who else was in Love Actually? Who I didn't realize is Stacy.
Yeah.
She's with Martin Freeman the
That's
whole
right.
time.
What the hell was that?
That is her.
It's a 30-minute drive for Brenda.
What does Brenda write?
So it's more like the Silver Spring than the.
That must have been Earthworm. I'm not sure if that's what they were going for or not, but
Did you eat the brown one?
no, it was kind of a dusky red.
That's
Wait.
You told Keith they weren't red.
Yeah.
no earthworms. No, I didn't. I told him they weren't gray.
Back the tape up. You told him.
No, he's right. He said
I
they
told
weren't
him
red.
earthworms weren't gray.
Well, he didn't say,
I
he
kept
wasn't
saying
talking-
they were red. Back the tape up. I'll show you.
All right, anyway.
I guess I always thought they were gray because of Earthworm Jim.
And the tornado did not hit the Capitol.
The cat, you know, yes, it did, and I will
did
prove
not.
that to you later
I
because
guess
I
they
have
really
a whole
are.
report that I wrote on the tornado, and I went through microfilm back in the day when we had such a thing before it was on the internet, and I
Did
know
not
where
hit.
it hit. I know the exact
Did
path.
not.
I can drive you
The
downtown.
path goes
and
right up to the
show
Capitol.
you.
You're
It goes
absolutely
right up to the
And
Capitol.
it lifts just as it gets to the ground.
That's the last thing it didn't destroy.
I know, that's what I'm saying. The tornado did not hit the Capitol. It did not knock that piece off the dome. It
On the way
popped up. It was winds
It
from
went
the tornado.
poof.
Once it's no longer on the ground, it's no longer called a tornado. I don't know if you know
funnel
that.
I do know that.
Yeah, I guess that's where
It's a funnel
You're
cloud.
still wrong.
It's a funnel
The
cloud.
tornado did
No.
not hit the Capitol.
It's a funnel cloud at the beginning of its lifespan, and it's a tornado all the way through the end.
Jim's not gray either.
Once it leaves the ground,
No,
it's no
it's
longer a
pink.
tornado, though.
You're right. I
No,
don't
it's
know
just
why.
an
I thought
airborne
they were
tornado
gray.
because they can touch
No,
back
there
down.
is
It's
no
still a
such
tornado.
thing as an airborne tornado.
Yes, there are.
No.
They
We
do
work
count
with
as
a
two separate
meteorologist
tornadoes.
every year
And I've
that
taken
corrects us
meteorology.
that corrects us on the terminology.
That corrects us.
He does. Trust me, he corrects us on the
He
terminology.
corrects you on the terminology.
Yeah, he corrects us on the terminology
Yeah,
all
who-
the time.
who's your meteorologist?
A tornado is
Who's your
only
meteorologist?
on the ground.
Who's your meteorologist?
Matt Miller. He's a professor at
That's
Washington.
one of seven.
Yes, I know.
Is that who you took the class
I've
from?
taken him.
Oh. Well, go
Yes.
ask him. Go ask him.
all right.
Go ask him Tuesday.
Anyway, so I got a package on, I think it was Thursday. Thursday. And it wasn't ticking, which was from the lovely Brenda. And I went, well, what else could she possibly be sending us? So I opened it up, and then I thought, well, maybe she's only sending it to me because I'm special. And no,
She
it's
did
for,
address it to you, not to Traveling the Vortex.
I don't know why. Where did you get my address, Brenda? I really don't remember giving that to you. I'm really not. I don't care. I love the fact that you're saying I don't remember giving you my address, but oh well.
You don't remember a lot of things.
If
No,
other
I
people
don't
have
remember a
tried
lot
to
of
send
things.
us stuff,
Send it to me. I get them.
who have sent us stuff before, it's a different address now, by the way.
Oh, yeah, it is. Isn't it?
Is that
Our
on the
studios
website?
have moved.
No. But we had given it out to a couple people. I don't remember who all.
Oh, you'd think they would forward it. The mail would forward it, wouldn't they?
Only for a certain amount of time.
Well, I've only lived there 6 months.
Yeah.
yeah, you're, out of time.
eight-
you're out
eight-
of time now.
I think it's
8
up
months.
It's
to
only 6 months.
Is
I think
it
it's up to
6?
a year.
I thought it was up to
I
a
got
year.
a notice saying 6 weeks. Maybe it's a year.
There you go.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Anyway,
It's not a tornado, that's for sure.
inside was
Earth Turned Gray. I have to read Valley my entire life.
a baggie full of oddly colored beans,
Earth Tones.
earth
Every
tones,
flavor beans.
every flavor beans,
Actually, every flavor
Not-
is not in there.
not every
Specific
flavor.
flavors are in there.
and a note that says, I confess to being a wimp. I ate all of the tolerable flavors, even grass, but was going to toss the rest. However, the three of you seem to have such a fun time looking for the gross ones that I felt it better to send them to you. There are 2 vomits, orange with red spots, 1 soap, light blue, 4 peppers, gray, not earthworm, and a bunch of earwax and other
Don't worry,
flavors.
Portman.
I'm not going to pour them in.
No, we're not. That's why she singled them out.
Have
we couldn't
fun.
find them when we poured them when we had them all together.
Brenda. So Brenda sent us the gross
Close your
ones.
eyes. Now close your eyes.
I did. I can't see behind your fingers.
I've not yet had a gross one other than what was maybe earthworm, so I'm looking forward to getting
I
something
feel like I ate
absolutely
plenty of gross
disgusting.
ones last week that I don't need to, but I will do so anyway.
Ooh,
What color was
it's,
that?
Huh?
What color was that?
I don't know. What color was it?
I don't know. I closed my eyes.
Well, you can do it once you...
They're all gross. Why does it matter?
Ooh. I have a feeling I know what this one's going to be.
I hope you got
This
another
one's
soap.
not that gross.
Actually, I like pepper, so...
That's very peppery, though.
That's my first pepper, though.
I don't know what this one was.
Actually,
but it wasn't that bad.
I really like the pepper. I really do like the pepper ones. Wow. That is peppery.
It's not pepper at first, and then it hits you.
It's good, though. I like that one. What color was yours?
I think I got another dirt.
I think
it's
it was
brown.
dirt or earthworm. It was one of those
I think
two
it's
colors.
dirt. Give me another one. I've had a dirt.
Right. What was yours? You don't know.
I don't know. Much went earwax because it wasn't very flavorful.
Oh, you know what it was? It was very, very pale. So I bet it
It
was.
tasted like jelly bean.
It tasted like jelly.
I think they
You
all
got
taste
it.
like jelly
You got the
bean.
jelly bean flavor jelly bean.
I think they all taste
I think
like
yours
jelly bean.
was. I think yours
Some
was.
are just stronger flavors than others.
Look, here we go again. Our listeners love us.
All right, cleansing the palate.
So, I don't know why I just thought of
Pepper's good.
this.
I like the pepper.
Oh, I got fish fingers and custard.
I bought a new pound of Skittles to refill the dispenser.
Sausage.
Ooh, pepper. Wow. That's very peppery. Have you
The
had a pepper?
sausage are good too. What is
Not
wrong?
bad.
I'm getting all the good ones this week.
Maybe the sausage I had last week was dirt.
No, I like the
I
sausage.
like the
Is this
pepper.
sausage?
Yeah,
Is
the
this,
pepper's good too.
I like the
sausage?
pepper.
I believe. No, that is not sausage.
That's not sausage?
No, sausage is.
Is this darker or is this dirt?
Well, wait a minute. That might be the sausage.
Wasn't that
But I
look like
thought mine had
sausage?
some dark specks in it, not white ones.
Oh, let's try this one.
No, I think you're right. I think that is sausage.
Yeah, that's a sausage. I've had that one before. Okay.
Anyway, thank you, Brenda,
Yeah.
for sending us the
so now
gross.
she has sent the gross ones. And if Keith, if you'd like, you can dump those into our
Because our thing does seem to have a large amount of not gross.
the good flavors. Maybe they did that on purpose. They don't want to ruin your entire experience.
I just like the idea that she brought these all the way from the UK and then was going to throw them out.
Yeah, well,
that's what I think is funny.
And as Sarah pointed out, she spent like $1.05 to send them down.
Yeah.
Which we had some more fun this week.
So we should. Oh wow! I just realized where these have traveled from. If we were to draw an Indiana Jones red line on the map from Cardiff to Atlanta to Kansas, these are world traveled beans now.
Well, I know for a fact they went
I'm
to
still
Kansas City
tasting
before they
pepper.
came to
Well, yeah, I mean,
Topeka. So.
that's one of those spots where it went boop and then
You got
changed
something in
directions.
between.
But,
Yeah.
I did that.
Here,
That's my
you have to
bad.
try this first. Tell me what you guys think of it.
What is this?
Try that?
It's a Skittle.
Well, that's a Skittle.
Is it sour?
No. I seem to remember them doing this before, and then it didn't last very long.
Tastes like green apple.
It is. They replaced lime with green apple.
Oh, good for them. I prefer green apple over lime. I always have.
I don't know how I feel about it. That's not. I thought it was like a special thing for one bag, but no, it's all.
That's good.
Original
I like
Skittles
that. Yeah, I prefer.
That's a very potent green apple.
It is a very potent green apple.
Is that soap? That is. Isn't it?
Eat it, Glenn.
You dropped it on the floor.
Oh, it is soap. Dang it! All right. Did that last week too.
All right.
Yeah, that's soap. That's the. God, I still haven't got vomit, but that I'm sure vomit would be even
Maybe
more
that's.
vile.
I bet that's
Soap
the
is
one I
the
spit
worst.
out last week.
Oh my
was
god,
vomit.
soap!
Vomit.
Soap is the
I'm
worst.
I'm pretty sure that's what it
Oh
was.
my god!
Because it was just nasty, and I couldn't even stand to have it in my mouth. That's vomit.
Soap tastes exactly like soap. There's no getting around that. Wow. All right. So who's next?
Up next is Mark.
So do I go since Sean went first?
I guess you can. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not ready. Go ahead. No, wait. No, I am. I'm
He
right
said-
here.
Okay, go.
I'm feeling out of touch with the natural order of things.
All right. Mark writes, question, comment, chaps. Or comment, question, chaps. I am so far behind on listening to the podcast, so I'm in catch-up mode. Just listen to the history of coffee and have to say
wow.
it's one of the funniest things I've heard in a long while. Never mind Doctor Who, the banter on your show is second to none. I'd also like to add my 2 pence
Well,
worth.
who is this nun, and how can we overtake them?
I'd also like to add my 2 pence worth to Brenda's email. I totally agree with you, Brenda. If people don't like New Who, they shouldn't listen. In my opinion, the show now is spot on. Several observations lead me to this conclusion. Number 1, my 8-year-old peeks from behind the cushions when watching. 2, my 13-year-old asked for a bow tie and braces for Christmas last year so he could be like the doctor. Number 3, the 8-year-old again, Strax is his hero. When kids can relate to a side character, you know it's good writing and acting. And number 4, my mom loves New Who. In our family, her word is law. Anyway, I've taken up enough of your time. Thanks for the laughs, Mark. Absolutely, Mark, and I totally agree. If they
Those are
don't like the
great
show,
points.
don't watch or listen.
Up next is Rachel. Rachel writes in, comment, question, hello, Vortex Gang. First, thanks for taking on the challenge of coming up with quotes for the classic doctors for my Halloween project. I know it was probably never any of the writer's intentions to give each doctor a memorable catchphrase, but it's interesting how good a number of the doctors do have at least one quote that has stuck with people.
Oh,
Anyways, as it is only September 1st, there's still plenty of time to come up with ideas before Halloween.
I've got some.
okay, guys.
I did my homework.
I thought of one on the way over here,
Okay.
actually. What's yours?
Well, go ahead, because you might, if yours is, I don't want to double up. So.
I thought of a Fifth Doctor one because we were having trouble with his. And again, going back to his greatest story, The Five Doctors, when he's suffering from cosmic angst and he says, a man is the sum of his parts, a Time Lord even more so.
Oh, that's a good
Well,
one.
that's Chrissy's. She is, later she's going to suggest that
Oh, is Chris going to say
as one of those. So, way to go, Sean.
Damn it, Chrissy.
Stealing Chrissy stuff again. All right.
She's probably going to give us an episode title,
My
too.
list is a bit long, but I will hurry through it because I did do my homework this week because we'd promised Rachel that we'd come up with some stuff, even though she's forgiven us and given us a few
Good,
more
'cause I
weeks.
forgot to.
But from the first Doctor, now I had to look some of these up because while I remember them as I refreshed my memory, I didn't remember these off the top of my head, so I'm not taking that kind of credit. What'd you find? What'd you get?
Soap.
Yeah, soap is horrid.
Oh my god! It's
so
even
horrid.
got that weird exterior shell like you're biting into a bar of soap. That is probably the grossest thing I have ever tasted in my life.
I told you.
Oh god, that may be worse than Marmite.
I can't believe I did that twice. All right, first Doctor.
At least they're easily identifiable because they're very light blue.
Two of these are actually very similar. An Unearthly Child, he says, have you ever thought what it's like to be wanderers in the fourth dimension? Have you? To be exiles? Susan and I were cut off from our own planet without friends or protection. But one day we shall get back. Yes, one day. Which leads into the quote from the Dalek Invasion of Earth, and it's also the open to 5 Doctors, and I did edit it down to the 5 Doctors quote, which I think is the most familiar. He says, one day I shall come back. Yes, I shall come back. Until then, there must be no regrets, no tears, no anxieties. Just go forward in all your beliefs and prove to me that I am not mistaken in mine. Now, the interesting thing is that you could almost put those two quotes back to back, and it's almost
you could almost cut them seamlessly.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, one day I shall come back. I didn't find any from the second Doctor. I just didn't, and I think the problem with that is I'm not. There's so much missing, and I'm not familiar enough with it to have just popped the quote off of there in my quick search. But
Crumbs, oh my giddy aunt.
I think some of these two could be themed together because while those first two are a certain style of quote, the third Doctor in the Sea Devils, I think the most infamous quote. And the only time that he actually says it in such a way is, I reverse the polarity of the neutron flow. I think that is one that has to be included because it's the one that's most quoted, probably. One of the most quoted lines from Doctor Who, and one of the ones that people think that he said several times, but really only said once in such a way. I went with the fourth Doctor's Genesis of the Daleks quote, but I had to frame this with Sarah because Sarah's in the middle of this. But it's when the Doctor's struggling on what to do as far as putting the two together. Yeah, having the right. Do I have the right? Simply touch one wire against the other, and it's it. The Daleks cease to exist. Hundreds of millions of people, thousands of generations, can live without fear and peace and never even know the word Dalek. And Sarah says, then why wait? If it was a disease or some sort of bacteria you were destroying, you wouldn't hesitate. The Doctor replies, but if I wipe out a whole intelligent life form, then I'd become like them. I'd be no better than the Daleks. And then, of course, this was just kind of a fun one that's always been a favorite of mine from Pyramids of Mars when he says, deactivating a generator loop without the correct key is like repairing a watch with a hammer and chisel. One false move, and you'll never know the time again. Another one of my favorites, and I had forgotten about this until I was going back through this stuff, was the Doctor in Mask of the Mad Dragon is saying, you humans have such limited little minds. I don't know why I like you so much. To which Sarah says, because you have such good taste. And the Doctor says, that's true. That's true. Very true. So those are some fun ones that I think that you kind of, if you're doing them, you kind of have to do them. If you're doing them for a Halloween thing, you kind of have to space them out, do them in such a theme
have to be all scary.
Or whatnot.
Yeah.
No, they don't have to be. But I think
Pertwee had some good ones in Green Death. Dealing with that computer.
From Deadly Assassin, through the millennia, the Time Lords of Gallifrey led a life of ordained calm, protected against all threats from lesser civilizations by their great power. But this was to change. Suddenly, terribly, the Time Lords faced the most dangerous crisis in their long history, and that was sort of a setup from the Doctor.
Oh, the voiceover
when he's talking about that at the beginning. And I think that's one of the ones that if you were to kind of set a theme together of his comments about the Time Lords, and because the Doctor, a lot of his quotes kind of set up the corruption and what the society has become. My fifth Doctor quotes I came to were right from Castrovalva. That's the trouble with regeneration. You never know quite what you're going to get. I love that quote. I've always thought that was a fantastic one. Arc of Infinity, the Doctor says, you know how it is. You put things off for a day, and the next thing you know, it's 100 years later. From Time Crash, this one's just because I absolutely think that, and this is going forward, but with Time Crash, when the two TARDISes have merged and created the crisis, and he says, that could blow a hole in the space-time continuum the size of, well, actually the exact size of Belgium. That's a bit undramatic, isn't it? Belgium? The Sixth Doctor we mentioned last week, I think from the Ultima Foe, you have to do the in all my traveling throughout the universe, I've battled against evil, against power mad conspirators. I should have stayed here. The oldest civilization, decadent, degenerate, and rotten to the core. Power mad conspirators, Daleks, Sontarans, Cybermen. They're still in the nursery compared to us. 10 million years of absolute power. That's what it takes to be really corrupt. And again, I think that goes kind of with your Time Lord theme. And then quickly, my last two are from the Seventh Doctor. In Time of the Romney, more of the fun and whimsical nature of the Doctor would be, you don't understand regeneration, Mel. It's a lottery, and I've drawn the short blank. So that would be sort of those, going back to that Fifth Doctor quote about regeneration. And then, of course, the last one is the final quote from Survival. I think that's like a pinnacle of it all. It's the last of the original series, which is, there are worlds out there where the sky is burning and the sea is asleep and the rivers dream, people made of smoke and cities made of song. Somewhere there's danger, somewhere there's injustice, and somewhere else the tea's getting cold. Come on, Ace, we've got work to do. So there you go. Hopefully that helps a little bit. And I did kind of stay just specifically to the Doctor, but I rushed through those, but now you can scroll back or rewind back.
Re-scrub.
Yeah,
a great
back.
source can be wikiquote.org.
Ooh, Wikiquote is a good one. Why didn't I go there?
I don't know why you didn't go there.
Scouring all kinds
What'd you do? Cue all these up and watch every episode?
No. That's what I say. I did not go that. And what I did is I kind of
had my notepad out.
Well, I remembered stories that I remembered quotes, but I couldn't remember exactly how they went, and so then I went in and kind of went from episode to episode.
I think some of McCoy's mixing metaphors would be fun too, like Time and Tide, Melt the Snowman.
Those are only really early on, though, in Time in the Ronnie and Paradise Hours. What was the second one?
Hadn't been Delta and the Barrowman because we haven't watched Paradise yet.
He sort of got away from those after, which I wish he hadn't.
I liked it
because I thought that was a neat character trait.
Yeah.
So anyway, I will turn the podcast back over to Keith.
She continues. Second, my husband Chauncey and I went to a local screening of the Doctor Who movie yesterday.
Wow.
It was my second time seeing the movie and my husband's first. He's just recently been getting into seeing more classic Who. When this screening popped up, I figured why not take him along. Even without a lot of background knowledge, he really enjoyed the movie. Although we did end up spending the entire car ride home answering his questions about Gallifrey, Time Lords, and the Master. But I was expecting him to be a bit lost. I made him a list of a few episodes for each classic era Doctor to watch to give him a better idea of each past Doctors, and he's slowly making his way. Unfortunately, he's also mainlining Star Trek Next Gen and is on the last season, so his attentions are a bit elsewhere at the moment. Well, at least he's only on the last season.
It's a good place to be, too. I mean,
it's not like he's mainlining Twilight.
Which would be, he'd be done with it by now.
But I think the beginnings of him becoming a Whovian are there.
Yay!
Yay! Always good to hear.
Two new ones. 2 new spouses.
Yeah. Third, The Green Death. This is my second time watching this story, and while it's Joe Grant's swan song, this was a story that really cemented my love for John Pertwee's Doctor. He's suave, sophisticated, yet isn't afraid to make fun of himself. Plus, his use of Venusian Aikido is a pretty bow tie. The plot itself is a bit silly. I can't complain too much when it brings together the whole unit crew. Hearing the brig give orders for 5 rounds rapid, or in this case 10 rounds, always brings a smile to my face. As I just recently watched the Sarah Jane Adventures episode, Death of the Doctor, watching the Doctor walk away from Jo, knowing that while he would see her again, she wouldn't see him again for almost 40 years is a bit sad. But knowing she's going to have a great life with Cliff, her children and grandchildren, makes it a bit easier to say goodbye to Miss Grant. Well, that's all I have for this week. Until next time, Rachel. P.S. A request from my husband who, while he isn't actively listening to your podcast, he will listen if I happen to have them playing while he's around. If you haven't covered it lately already, he would like to hear your opinions on some of your favorite and least favorite special effects from Doctor Who.
Ooh.
We haven't done that.
Wow.
You know, Sean and I think both have voiced this before, that we really liked the time scoop from the original, the Five Doctors.
The Phantom Zone?
Yeah.
I don't like the
little swirl
Vortex
thing.
one.
Yeah.
The
I'm not opposed to the little twirling.
Oh, no, you can't call it a
Time
tornado
scoop.
because it's still airborne.
I'm not opposed to the little swirling time scoop. I thought that was kind of a neat update, but I've
wasn't
always
needed,
liked.
though.
I've always liked that
I
little
like the
Phantom
flat.
Zone looking
Bang.
cheesy. Ooh. Problem is, my second time around all these things, I've been watching the special editions, and so I've been getting all the new effects on it because I've seen the old, and I want to.
I've always liked the Ronnie tripwires from Time in the Ronnie. That when the Lacurtians step on them, they do a little bubble, and they start to spin and then go off and explode. I've always thought that was a cool effect. Cool. The people turning into trees, landmines from previous Ronnie is definitely a groaner. Maybe we could do a whole show on that.
We probably could.
A best and worst.
Best and the worst effects.
The little weird troll creature from Terror of the Autons.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the scary doll baby.
Yeah.
That was pretty bad.
That was bad.
Well,
you know what?
Was it bad because it was a bad effect, or was it bad because it was scary?
It didn't look great. It wasn't well designed, I don't think.
I think the death couch is probably
worse.
The
death couch is worse, yeah.
It's a worse effect, and it's a more ludicrous plot development.
Yeah,
than
the rat. I would agree.
Oh,
the rat from Talons. I'll tell you what's from one of my pet peeve stories, which is The Invisible Enemy. I really think the model shots in that are incredible. I think they're really detailed and very sharp looking. And Robots of Death. I love the mining. The exterior model.
Really, 80% of the time, I'm impressed by the effects.
For what they are.
Because I can put them in the perspective of what they were at the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the budget they're using, it's impressive stuff.
It's all about perspective.
And of course, we always like to see Cybermen tearing through cellophane.
Oh, yes. And we all love
no matter what it is, whether it's Tomb or whether it's Earthshock or whether it's
Age of Steel.
What did they in Age of Steel? I remember they did.
They busted through the window, the patio window.
There was the one that was plastic wrap.
Well,
the plastic sheeting they hang in construction.
They did that in
Doomsday.
Yes.
Yes.
I was in that two-parter.
The final
Army Ghost.
I should know, by the way, Caitlin just finished season 4. Actually, she just finished the specials, and she watched 11th Hour tonight. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she's plowing through them and just enjoying the ride, so...
She is. That went quick.
Yeah.
Did she cry at Donna?
She didn't at Donna, but she was all bummed at the end of time. And I said, "Are you sad now that 10's gone?" She said, "Yeah, I think I liked him the best so far." So I said, "Oh, you just wait."
Well, I got one thing to say.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna start crying.
Anyway, so there's some of our
and we always kind of discuss various effects.
Maybe we should do that.
That'd be kind of fun. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention the Merca.
Yeah, our mascot.
He's the best and the worst.
At the same time.
Yeah, best and worst there. For as much as I dislike the story, I think Candyman's one of those love or hate it, or love and hate it for me.
And the
Crinoid. I've always liked the Crinoid.
Yeah, your spaghetti monsters.
Wait, which one was Spaghetti Monster?
Was it the Crinoid from...
Wasn't the Crinoid the Axis?
Aren't they the repainted axons?
Yeah, well, they
no. The green axons?
Or am I getting confused?
Omega.
Omega?
Oh, from the Three Doctors. That's right. I forgot about the Crinoid. Yeah, no, that
the Crinoid was a repainted antimatter monster.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I still liked the Crinoid. Yeah. And I liked all of them.
The spaghetti monsters were the axons in their real form.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before they were painted green.
Right.
The Ood.
What were they after they were green? Seeds of Death? Seeds of Doom?
Right.
No, the axons were not reused.
They look like the same.
No,
you're thinking the antimatter monsters from the Three Doctors.
Three Doctors is what was reused.
The units fighting them.
We were confused when he said that and thought it was the axons, but it was actually apparently the
it's the animated monsters from the Three Doctors.
Oh, I confuse those with Seeds of Doom or Seeds of Death, whichever.
Guardian Omega.
Well, those are.
That's what he's saying.
In the Three Doctors, Omega sends the Animated monsters in
Axons
the
were
red.
not the ones repainted for Seeds of Death.
They were for Three Doctors.
Three Doctors ones were repainted
for Seeds of Death.
Oh, okay.
They were
Axons
red
their
in
own
the Three Doctors,
thing.
and then they were green in Seeds of Death. But I liked all the versions of the Kryn.
Maybe that's why I
liked the
confused
in-between
it, because
and
it
the,
was...
when he's laying there becoming plant-like, and then the Three Doctors antimatter stage, and then the giant one that's on top of the building. I've always thought those were cool.
And those are some of my worst. So we got a split there.
Anything Scorby blew up, those were always good effects.
I'm surprised they haven't done a Scorby action figure.
Oh, yeah. I'd totally buy that.
Because they have that set for that story with the monster and the doctor, but no Scorby in it.
I don't want a Scorby action figure. You know why? Because he'd be carrying around all the time going, Scorby! Scorby! Who's next?
Up next is Chrissy. Do you have access to that?
I do. Let me get out of Rachel's. Chrissy writes, a funny thing happened on the way to my Facebook feed. Dear Vortex Boys, talk about serendipity. Last week, I sent in feedback and mentioned the Salt Lake City Comic-Con and said that there hadn't been any Doctor Who-related guests announced. And the very next day, after I wrote that feedback, I checked Facebook, and the con organizers announced that friend of the show, Simon Fisher-Becker, was coming. I'm even more excited for this con. I'll say hi to him for you. I wish you would, Chrissy. I very much, and make sure that you tell him that, hey, the Vortex Boys, Traveling the Vortex, sent me. Well, didn't send you, but, you were there anyway. But, yeah, mention us and tell him that we hope he's doing well. And I really, the more times this happens, the more I think we need to bump our recording dates to Monday nights, because apparently all the news comes out Mondays. So we would definitely appear to be a little more in the know if we did Monday nights instead of Sundays. She continues, also, if there are any Vortex listeners going to Salt Lake Comic-Con, come find me. I'll be running the library booth in the vendors area on Thursday. We're in booth 413, so come say hello. I'm also going to have a sticker of my Twitter avatar on my badge, so hopefully that'll help us get connected, too.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's a really good idea. This is for Rachel, who asked for her idea for audio quotes from different doctors. I immediately started thinking of the Fifth Doctor. The thing is, there aren't overly long speeches, monologue-type bits.
That's true.
From him. He wasn't really the monologuing type, but there are a few quotes that I think are pretty good. A man is the sum of his memories, a Time Lord even more so, from the Five Doctors. Yeah, well, you stole that from me, Chrissy. For some people, small, beautiful events is what life's all about. From Earthshock. The rest of that scene is good, too, though you'd probably have to include the parts from the Cyber Leader for it to make sense. Yeah. I feel as though I've just lost an old friend from the Visitation right after the sonic screwdriver's been destroyed. And where to go? And definitely his inner monologue toward the end of Snake Dance.
I totally forgot about that one.
Well, we haven't done those yet.
No, but I knew it.
Some others I thought of, you really should do the part from the very end of The Reign of Terror where the First Doctor says, "Our destiny lies in the stars. Let's go search for it." It's something like that. I don't remember it perfectly. And if you're including companions, include Perry from Planet of Fire. I'm Pepper Gillian Brown, and I can yell just as loud as you. Hope all those help. Brenda, never apologize for writing a long email about the Doctor Who experience and the Harry Potter studio tour. I loved hearing about your trip and all the neat things you got to see. I especially loved your description of the TARDIS set tour since I've been able to play around with the online simulator on Google Earth, and I could better visualize what you were talking about. But I'm sure that seeing it in person was even better. And how serendipitous it was that you were in the UK the day Peter Capaldi was announced. I hope you brought back a copy of the newspaper with the front page story. I enjoyed your stories immensely. Well, that was fun. Time to talk about the Green Death, in which I have to say very little. It's a nice send-off for Joe, and it showcases the unit crew very nicely. And the ending has a very melancholy feel to it. Probably the second saddest ending to a classic Who story. Earthshock is probably the most sad. But for me, it's just sort of there. If it wasn't Joe's swan song, it really wouldn't be that notable. Other than the couple of times that the background of the credits is upside down. Yes, Glenn, I'm aware that the credits are the words on the screen. I just said credits on Twitter because I only have 140 characters to work with, and I need to be concise.
Yeah, but if you had said the background of the credits, I would have realized a lot sooner. Every time she said credits are upside down, I kept looking at mine going, well, he fixed it for my copy.
I thought, oh, that's a weird special edition thing. Why would they put the text upside down?
As a whole, the story itself is all right, just not my absolute favorite. But the special edition DVD is certainly worth owning with the final Doctor Forever documentary, which is all about how the BBC brought Doctor Who back. It's mostly interviews with Russell T Davies and Jane Tranter. And I think there could be a whole docudrama written about that. Death of the Doctor is included on the special features as well, and the commentaries for the Green Death are pretty good too, especially the one for episode 6, which is Katie Manning and Russell T Davies, and it's so well done. If you're like me and the Green Death isn't your favorite, the DVD is worth owning for the special features alone. I've got some things I need to get caught up on, so I'll sign off. If you're in the U.S., have a great Labor Day weekend. If you're somewhere else in the world, have a great week anyway. Chrissy.
Thank you, Chrissy.
Thank you. And as always, thank you much. And thank you to all of our listeners who take the time to write in, including next.
Holly. Holly writes, The Green Death. Hey guys, I enjoyed this story. You could kind of tell right off the bat that the Doctor was getting the distinct feeling that Jo was going to hang up her time traveling shoes with him. I was really getting some Inferno-like vibes on this story with the way that the head of command of Global Chemicals was acting just like Stallman. Jo and Professor Jones hit it off right away, and you could see the writing on the wall when the professor mentioned about going to the Amazon and how Jo's eyes lit up at that. I so agree with Jo about not liking the maggots one bit. They were sure creepy looking. We also get the return of Benton and Yates. When I saw Yates appear on the screen, I groaned, not exactly knowing what he was going to be up to. The Doctor sure was a master of disguise in this story, first as a milkman and then as a maid. Almost said first as a milkmaid. First as a milkman, then as a maid. Loved his remark to Yates about being careful of his comment to him while dressed like that. Plus, we get another round of let's blast the alien of the week with everything but the kitchen sink and see what sticks. I so do not envy the brig for having to write up the report. Also, the Doctor yet again breaks out the Venetian Aikido, and one soldier should not have commented on the Doctor's age at all. Just like you don't comment on the age or size of a certain Green Jedi Master as well. They can both be full of surprises, and they know how to fight and take care of themselves. The boss computer was rather interesting. Kind of like a computerized version of the Master, who I was half expecting to pop out from behind the red monitor.
I was too.
I sort of did the first time I saw it. Also, the headphone thingy that was put on Stevens and some of his fellow co-workers' heads to control them looked like a cross between Cybermen and Dalek technology. The silver, almost handlebar-like look, and then the blue ends on the ends of the earpieces. Benton referring to the maggots as kittens had me agreeing with the Doctor's sharp tone when he called him by name to get him to stop. Great. The maggots happened to... Oh, okay. Great. The maggots happened to be mutant dragonflies. Thank goodness they weren't mosquitoes. The Doctor beating a hasty retreat after Cliff's impromptu proposal really shows that he's going to miss Jo. I love that he gave Jo a sapphire from Metabolus 3. I'll wrap it up here. Looking forward to hearing your and everyone else's thoughts on this story. Holly from Wisconsin. Thank you, Holly. Absolutely. She had a lot to say about it. I really enjoyed that one.
To jump back to Chrissy's email real quick. According to the TARDIS Wikia, for episodes 2, 5, and 6, the title sequence film over which the closing credits were superimposed was played backwards and upside down, a result of the film being played backwards through a projector to save time during recording. So they did it on purpose.
For just that one, huh?
No, those 3.
No, I mean for just that story.
Apparently.
I'll be done.
I don't know, it doesn't reference any other ones. Well, let's move on to The Green Death.
You could tell they were hurrying through this thing since they had to shoot a lot of stuff on front of green screen.
While the Doctor indulges his wanderlust with a brief trip to Metabolus 3, the Brigadier and Jo Grant drive to South Wales to investigate the death of a miner at a disused pit owned by the mysterious Global Chemicals. The most astonishing symptom of the miner's fatal disease is that it leaves the skin bright green. The Doctor arrives on the scene and soon suspects that the Global Chemicals factory management may have something to hide. When he and Jo discover a vast green lake teeming with deadly giant maggots hidden in the abandoned mine, he fears the threat may have already reached global proportions.
Dun, dun, dun.
That was a very strong dun dun dun.
I liked this one.
I kind of agree with Chrissy that it's a good story. It doesn't feel it's slow moving at the beginning, but then once it starts going, and it's enjoyable then. But not one of my top third Doctor stories.
Really?
It's great for the Joe stuff, and because of her swan song and seeing her leave, kind of a very different departure for a companion, especially since we don't really. They kind of just the previous one with Liz. They kind of just brushed it on the carpet of she's gone. It's nice to see them kind of address it, and even though it's kind of rushed of, oh yes, I want to go with. She just suddenly has an interest in environmental politics, where I guess I didn't get that impression before this.
I think it's easier to buy that because she's a little hippie-ish.
Yeah, I buy it. I buy it pretty
She kind of has that tendencies, but they don't bring up the whole environmental thing until this one. So it does seem sprung on you, but it's easily
it was sprung
bought.
on, but
it's easily bought.
Exactly.
If Sarah Jane had done this, it would have been like, what?
Yeah.
But for Joe, it's easy to assume that she would have been into it, you know?
Yeah.
And why? I don't quite see what she saw in Cliff, but he was kind of a jerk the entire time until he got sick.
Yeah, although
He was a jerk to her.
So was the Doctor.
it works.
everyone
That's just
kind of
it.
is a jerk to
It
Joe,
works for the
unfortunately.
story because it really. I think it more makes Joe shine because when they go at first they
She
go.
doesn't let it defeat her.
Exactly. They don't. She doesn't let her defeat her, and that's what I absolutely love about this because they go the route of her still being clumsy Joe, especially after she spills the. But that all ends up working out for her.
Hey, her first meeting with Cliff went a lot better. She didn't get hypnotized and try to kill him.
That's true. That's a good point.
She didn't bring a bomb back to the nut hutch.
I'm more forgiving for Cliff though because he seems to be one of those types that gets really focused on what he's doing.
Yeah,
and so he's off-putting in the sense that he gets so focused on what he's doing that he does. I don't think it didn't matter that it was Joe. It could have been anybody that approaches him when he's busy. Probably gets the same treatment that she got. So I kind of was forgiving in that sense, and I didn't have a problem with Cliff at all. In fact, by the end, I was really glad that he ended up with, or that she ended up with him, because it really seemed like she needed somebody that, I don't want to say he's doctor-like, but he's an intelligent person, and it's nice that he sees something in her, as the doctor did. There's more potential for her, because on the surface, she really comes across very dull.
Yeah.
She comes across very dim-witted. But I think she has that hidden potential that she seems to find all the time. And I think the doctor recognizes that, and I think Cliff ultimately recognizes that as well.
I think he's very doctor-like. I think if you go back and look at the first story that Joe's in, where the doctor's busy, focused, doing something scientific in the lab, and kind of is like, go get me coffee, and they reference that Cliff's like, well, why don't you be good and yeah, I'd love a cup of it. And she says something, oh, like a good coffee girl, and that's when she decides to go get the maggots. But he's basically a younger, hipper, not going to go take you into danger on some other planet doctor.
Yeah, but he's going to go take her into some sort of danger in the Amazon.
But
so
that's
it's still,
acceptable.
there's still another level. But no, you're right. That's kind of a brought down level.
It's brought down level, but it's a more manageable Joe danger than dealing with extraterrestrials.
Whatever the freaky thing that was chasing the Doctor in Metabilis 3.
Whatever that was. So the Doctor's been trying to get to Metabilis 3 like the whole season, and then he finally gets there.
It's a terrible experience.
Why would you go there? What on earth?
Yeah, but look what he did with that sapphire.
That's a good thing.
Very helpful.
Good thing.
Yeah.
You got a lot of those sapphires back.
You kind of do that. You kind of go throughout the whole time that he's trying to get to Metabilis 3. He's always talking about going there. He's always, and so you're thinking, wow, that must be a really cool place. It's really, and then in this one they throw that at you, and you're like, oh, I don't want to go to Metabilis 3 anymore.
It's no midnight.
Well, yeah, that's a good point.
There are plenty of other planets that would be a lot more fun. Well, I want to go to the planet with the cities made of smoke and a song, and
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go to that planet. That one
songs,
sounds cool. Yeah. This is one of those that
it's made of smoke and people made of smoke.
Yeah, I really like this story, and I commented on this when we were watching it for Friday, and in a way, it's really kind of a shame that there are some clunky effects in this one because it's really a pretty good story. Now, I say that, but I've been
They're not
thinking
horrible, but
they're
they are
not horrible.
clunky. They are
They're
clunky.
just
Clunky is a good word for it.
Well, and even James commented that he says, the maggots for the time, when did we establish this one? It was 1973, so this is 40 years ago. The maggots are actually pretty impressive with the teeth and,
Oh, yeah.
And the green screen effect of them going across this floor, I
No,
thought
see,
was...
I didn't. I thought the green screen effect was
okay.
terrible.
I thought
But
the green screen effect was only
it was
marginally
efficient.
less bad than the miniature shot of Bessie and Benson and the Doctor going up the hill. That one was like,
To the
oh,
cave.
really?
Or the green... It was better than the green screen effect of them going down the elevator shaft.
Or the green screen
Or them
effect
standing in the
driving through
field.
the maggots everywhere. Or the green screen effects that we felt were necessary for the unit boys that we apparently
know.
forgot to shoot out in the field because 2/3 of the shots are actual outdoor broadcast, or no, it's been film at the time, was film, and the rest of it's like indoor green screen work. And I thought, did you just forget these, or did we get rushed? I'm sure there's a documentary.
It was a
on
play on the Green Death. It was going to be called Maggots of Doom, and then they went, we did so much green screen work, we should change the title. That's why they had to flip the credits upside down, too. Is to change we changed the name last minute. What? Oh, the Green Death, I get it. You're being funny, aren't you? Shut up and retitle them. But the story in and of itself, as much as I liked it, I think this is maybe another one of those that I like the parts better than the sum.
Yeah, I would agree with
Because
that.
the story itself is kind of a straightforward. We've got evil company
Sort of there.
X polluting,
It's a very
place Y.
70s story.
Yeah, and doing, we have to solve problem Z in time frame A. I mean, it's just kind of got that stuff going for it, but there's so many little things that go along with it that are married to the story that make it work. That we do get, it is Joe Sendoff. We do get the Doctor with Venush Nikito, even though it's shot from extreme far range and it's very obviously not Pertwee. I'm okay with that.
We get a wonderful unit team.
We get a wonderful unit team doing a lot of stuff.
The beginning of Yates being a jerk.
Well, I'll tell you, but it's purposeful there.
But it
and that's
is.
the
It
thing
really
is,
is.
the first time I saw this was before I saw Invasion of the Dinosaurs. So the first time I saw this, and this happened, it was one of those, oh, wow, why is he being like that? And then suddenly finding out why he's undercover.
That he's
and it's
undercover.
fantastic. So, oh, that's great. It wasn't until this time that I watched it, after having seen, that I went,
The undertones.
that's too bad, because there's this undertone there now when you first see him being a jerk and being the way that he is, and you think, oh, yeah, he actually becomes this person later. And then it makes the whole fact that he's working undercover really becomes a great character in this. I really like Yates when he's, doing the undercover work and you realize what's going on and what he's there for. And
having to go back into
and having to
danger
go back.
and do it.
And having gone through that, the mind thing, and the Doctor has to bring him back. And it's so tragic to watch that now, because you're like, oh, where it's going to, where he's going to, what side he's going to end up on eventually, and it just,
And I feel
it's tough to watch.
I feel like I owe Keith an apology, and probably a great number of our listeners too, just because of the way we happen to schedule these. That we did dinosaurs early, and Mike's the bad guy. How many of the Mike Yates moments have now been tainted because every time he shows up, everybody's going,
well, but we had
we
some
know
other
what
Mike
happens
Yates,
to
didn't
you.
we? Didn't we have some other Mike Yates that before we saw Dinosaurs?
We had there were some.
Well,
We know,
yeah, 'cause
obviously
he was
he's in a
in
lot
Terror.
of he's in a lot of Third Doctor stories, but I don't know that he's
We
had
had
as
the
big a
Dalek
role.
one too. He was in that, wasn't he?
I don't know that he's had as big a role though. It's always just kind of been Captain Yates is one of those names that gets tossed about as part of the unit crew, and it's
And we're always
okay,
like,
Yates
why are
is
they
in it.
talking about him? Benton's awesome.
Benton is awesome.
Ben
He's
is
still
awesome. He's still he was awesome.
Even when he's calling maggots like kitties to come eat.
Yeah, well,
He was such a great character moment for him.
he was awesome as a baby,
He was.
and he grew
was
up to be
awesome
awesome. So But
Baby Benton.
yeah, so I feel like we kind of maybe ruined a little bit of Mike Yates, and I look forward, because he's going to be at Galley, so I look forward to going and talking with Richard Franklin,
Yes, that's
and
correct.
maybe asking some of these questions about. So when you did the Green Death and they had you do this, did you have any inkling of where your character was going to wind up or not? Because I wonder if that was purposely done. I wonder if that was even an exit strategy, that they kind of knew that they wanted to go this way.
And I don't want to give too much away here, but I've heard interviews, and an interview particular with him, I think, at a convention, where he was talking about how that if he could have gone, he appreciated what they were doing in the story, Invasion of the Dinosaurs. He really appreciated what they were doing with the character, because it was kind of an interesting take in a way to drive that story. But he said he didn't like it because of the fact that, hey, suddenly I'm having to be the bad guy here and being very un-Mike Yates. So
maybe not.
Yeah.
I also thought it was interesting from the standpoint that we've kind of gotten hints before of a Mike-Joe flirtation relationship.
He was
Mike
totally
has always flirted with Joe, especially in the Dalek one where
where
he sends off
cheese and the
he
wine
sends off and he sends off Benton so that she's going to fit Benton.
Go patrol the perimeter. Hi, thanks for the wine and cheese.
Right. So
he was you could tell he was not happy that she married.
He does seem disappointed, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Well, and I wonder, can we retcon that? Is that's a little bit as to why his future is what it becomes, from the standpoint that, am I making you nervous? Just that, now he's lost his, he's got a taste for the global chemical way of doing things, and then his woman left him, and now he's all like, well, screw it, I don't need to be faithful to the unit. I don't know, maybe. But,
well, he's around for the beginning of Invasion of Time. He's there at the castle with the brig and the Doctor, isn't he?
We don't see him.
I thought we did.
According to TARDIS Wiki, the next time we see him is Invasion of the Dinosaurs.
Okay, I thought we did. Was Benton there at the beginning? Because there was somebody with the brig.
I think it might have been Benton.
Time Warrior.
Time Warrior, I'm sorry.
And
yeah, I did say Invasion of Time. I had Sontaran things on the brain, but yes. Time Warrior.
Not in that one either.
Time Warrior.
Yeah, he's not in that one either.
It's definitely not Invasion of Time.
I've always liked Pertwee's outfit. I've always liked the dark with the red piping. I just love it.
Some of the best parts of this is when Pertwee's trying to get into global chemicals and that's the costumes.
This is the downside to psychic paper, because New Who, there's no reason for him to dress up like a milkman or a maid and milkmaid and sneak into a building, because he's just going to flash the paper and the guard's going to go, oh, okay, you're important, and let him in.
Yeah.
And we'll get a quip about it, and that's the end of it. But this is, we get
it's true
20 whole minutes of subterfuge going on. And he's just, of all the Doctors, Pertwee. Tom Baker could have pulled it off.
Oh, yeah.
Peter Davison could have pulled it off. McCoy, maybe.
But even Troughton. Troughton totally could have pulled something like that off.
It was a very Troughton-esque thing to do, I can see.
But just the idea that Pertwee, who's always man of action and so secure in himself and everything, that he's dressing like this, and he looks at Yates, not one word.
I think you can tell that John Pertwee was having fun with it, too.
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't you tell he was just enjoying it?
Well, this is very much more in line with his other acting gigs, when he's playing Diesel Weasel Teeth, or whatever his name is. Scrim, I don't remember the name, but all the oddball stuff. What was I going to say? Oh, the computer. We have to talk about the computer.
No.
Attention, sci-fi writers! I want more villains like this.
The personification of this computer was one of the best I've seen. Screw Hal. Boss is better. Boss is way better than Hal.
Right down to the fact that it was humming at one time.
And singing.
This computer is bonkers. I mean, just
just the ideas that went into this computer too is that it became more human.
This computer.
That's how you should do it.
Computer had more charisma and characters than some movie villains do.
Yeah.
That was what was impressive about this.
The boss computer should boss computer for president. I want buttons made. It's our next ribbon for Callan. Boss for president.
I don't know if I want boss for the president, but I sure would like to see him like in a lounge act or
he'd give some
maybe headlining a concert.
He'd give some great campaign speeches. He'd be like Zartan as president.
Maybe a campaign manager for president.
And he'd hum his own theme song. I loved everything about the concept. Everything about it was great. And I realize now that I think it was Babel Color's 10 Doctors used this clip when he's down under the thing, and I hadn't seen it before. So all of a sudden I was like, oh, I recognize this! But I was with Brendan and a lot of the others, is that I totally thought the Master...
It kind of sounded like Anthony Ainley.
Yeah, it was Holly said that.
Holly and Chrissy, I think.
Chrissy said that too.
I totally thought the Master was the one behind it, because as soon as he started, there was the voice in the room. Yes, Master? Oh, okay. Go. And so I'm looking for anagrams in the credits, and they never, there was nothing there. Well, then I did a little wiki search, and I think it was slightly before this is when...
it was, yes.
What's his name? First Master.
Roger Delgado.
His car accident was before this episode. And so he was already gone at that point. And so obviously it wasn't him, but...
See, this is weird. The wiki says Katie Manning left the series because of the death of Roger Delgado. Delgado died June 1973, after Manning's final episode was filmed in 73. April 73. That goodbye couldn't have been. They wrote that in.
Say that again now.
The sentence doesn't make sense. Katie Manning left the series because of the death of Roger Delgado. Quotation, the Master, or parentheses, the Master. Delgado died June of 73, after Manning's final episode was filmed in April 73.
Oh, I see.
I don't understand that.
He would have died after they shot the episode.
Why did she leave? Because she didn't leave because of his death. She couldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
I know that was a big influence on Pertwee's decision to leave. That
maybe that's what
they had lost Delgado, and the fact that Barry Letts was leaving, and he kind of figured time's time.
Yeah.
But I don't want to talk about the downer. I want to talk about the funny computer.
But no, just talking about the Master, it sounded like it could have been him.
It sounded like it could have been him, and then and when he's down to the thing, oh come Doctor, I've read your file and I've expected more of you. I'm like, it's totally the Master, and it's just a psychotic computer.
It's a psycho computer.
And I love the fact that Pertwee Captain Kirk's it. I love that he's and he gives him.
Ironically, after we both saw World's End this week, which I can't say much more about
because
it,
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, especially then. But, gives it just a simple logic bomb. I tell you that I always tell the truth. The last thing I said was a lie. I'll work it out. And I love the fact that the tables get flipped so that we're all here and we're menacing and this is a very Baker moment, it seemed to me, that we've got the guys with the rubber hoses and stuff and we're going to torture you. Right. And Pertwee's like, I'm just doing some sums to keep myself from falling asleep. I think I think the episode ramps up.
Yeah, I think
it's definitely the second.
I think
half
as
is a
Keith
lot
said, I think it starts out very slow and kind of humdrum, and then it really gets better. The sad thing is, I think it gets better. It starts to get better by episode 3.
Yeah,
and so unfortunately, that's where we leave it hanging when we split this up over 2 weeks. And of course, I knew ahead of time because I'd sit down and watch this whole thing. From beginning to end. In fact, I had gone back and watched a little bit of it after I saw Death of the Doctor the first time because I wanted to catch some of the things that were set forth there. But that's one of the things I absolutely love, and I think Chrissy pointed this out, that the special edition has Death of the Doctor.
It's so nice that that's on there.
That's so nice. And actually, she was pointing to the documentary that's on there as well. But yeah, it's worth owning it just for the fact that you have now both of those, and you don't have to go out and buy a full season of Sarah Jane Smith. So, but no, overall, I don't have any real complaints. It wouldn't top my Pertwee stories, despite the fact that I think it's a great swan song for Joe. I love the interaction with Unit. I'm glad that they're all there. But there are ones that I put above this, so
it's a solid
story.
It
is just a solid story.
I mean, maybe
there are ones that I would put under. Yeah.
Maybe that means that there's not. Maybe we shouldn't be praising it as much as we are for just being solid, but it's all around solid. There's not really a lot you can poke holes at. Yes, I'm sure there are guys out there. Oh, the Green Death. That's the one with the maggots that looked like. And it's like, yeah, okay, but you know what? It's Doctor Who. I've really come to terms with that.
Unfortunately, as much as I'm forgiving about production of things, when it's done because of budget constraints, or it's done because of the time that it was done or whatnot, the green screening in this just really perplexes me in some parts as to why they chose to do it. Some parts make sense, some parts doesn't, and that's I really need that explained to me. Maybe there's a special making of that kind of irons that out and would make me be a little more at peace with that. But that the green screen technology in this really bugs me in such a way that they used it. And so
it is a little unclear, it seems like, as to why things are done. And maybe it's on there. What do you think, Keith, now that you've had both ends of Joe?
I think she grows immensely as a character.
Are we missing any Joe Grant stories now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What else is there?
The Daemons.
Oh, yeah.
The Mutants.
There's quite a few.
Sea Devils. Oh, you watched the Sea Devils. Oh, you actually finished the Sea Devils.
I did, too.
Yeah, eventually.
We watched it for Friday night. There's several of them still peppered in there that we haven't got to yet. But, I mean, just you've seen the majority of them now, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I kind of want to see them all in order to see her growth even more. Because I recognize it, but to truly appreciate it, I think seeing it in order would help a lot more.
I think so, too. Yeah.
But yeah, I've never been one to diss Jo despite her introduction. I don't think. I could be wrong about that, but I've always enjoyed her, and I think she leaves the show better than she started it, and that is a good mark of a character.
I think so too.
Do you think now that you've seen, because we saw the Death to the Doctor the previous week, and then came to I guess it was 2 weeks ago now, but then came to this story. Does it help gel that a little bit, or do you still think maybe Death to the Doctor was a little too far removed for her character for where they left off?
No, rewatching this, I see more of Jo and what they did with Death of the Doctor.
It works for you now, doesn't it?
It does work.
And that's what I had hoped.
It seemed really far out to me.
That's what I had hoped.
Far out. It was far out, man, when we watched Death of the Doctor. But seeing this, it's like, oh, okay, I see now where.
Good. And then I'm satisfied with that, because I really kept thinking when we were talking about that episode, I kept thinking.
I think she could have grown more between this and then, but the fact that she doesn't really demean the character.
Well, I think she stays true to her character, but she's still realizing that she's better off now, that she's a better person. I see all that. I think it's very in the nature of Joe's character, and you guys were pointing to some of the problems you had with the the distance and how the Doctor treated her in such a way in Death of the Doctor. And to me, this just totally makes it all make sense. And of course, I saw them in the right order. So
when do we ever do anything in the right order? Right?
Yeah. The other thing I'm really pleased that Death of the Doctor is on the special edition. I think that's really smart.
Well, the other thing that I think really this is people who want to try and put Doctor Who in that children's show box still. This is Exhibit A in many ways, but there is way more drama going on at the end of this episode than what would be led on by a typical show. I mean, we're saying goodbye to a companion, and the Doctor doesn't handle it particularly well.
No, he
very much is like, okay, have a good life, I love you, here's a present, bye. And off he goes with not even really so much even that. He just drives off. And we cut back to them and the celebration, and everybody's happy. Well, Yates is a little upset. But everybody's wishing her the best and everything, and she kind of has this sad look on his face. And then we cut to the silhouette of, a gorgeous shot of just the Doctor in Bessie in silhouette driving across the screen. Nice. And he goes all the way across the screen. And then the music comes up, and it's like, wow.
Black even, yeah.
That's how we're going to end it.
Yeah.
And
that's how the season
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
But I think that's true of most of Pertwee's run. His era seems the most grown up. His era seems the most drama and the less of a children's show. Because I really if you look back at a lot of the things I've seen from Hartnell, that really, it's never felt like a kids only show. It's always felt like a family show. But his to me has always seemed the most unkid show-like until you get to maybe the Sixth Doctor's era. And that would be the other one.
Pertwee,
Pertwee's era is the least kid show.
Okay, I got you.
And then not again until the Sixth Doctor. So it's funny you say that because now I kind of go, yeah, you're right. There's really that, and it's probably the heaviest there at that point. So,
I mean,
Christy's right. It's really the last time we end a story in such a way until Earthshock, which then is even heavier.
Yeah. Well, Earthshock's heavy, but it is. It's very melancholy, as she said. That it's just kind of, this is where we're going to leave this, and I think it's one of those great moments that today's writers have picked up on. With the Doctor doesn't do endings. He doesn't like,
He doesn't like goodbye.
He doesn't like goodbye, and it's very evident in this that he's not dealing with it very well. So, and he doesn't. I mean, he gives her a crystal from Metabulus. Okay, that's really cool, but I mean, he doesn't even give her a proper wedding gift. It's just like, this is what I had in my pocket.
Well, to be fair, the Doctor has a lot of stuff in his pockets.
Well, yeah, but it's very much I'm not going to go get you something because that would mean I'd have to come back.
Yeah, there's
here. And off he goes because he's so...
On the other hand, it's very powerful that he would give her that, because you look at it as, I'd have to leave and come back and give her something, so I'll just give her this. But on the flip side, how many times has he talked about wanting a sapphire from Metabulus? And that's one of the ultimate reasons to go to Metabulus 3 is to get one of these sapphires. So you get the impression that this is one of his coveted items. He wants this particular item. And
I also got the impression he had more than one.
Fortunately, it suits him, and then, maybe that's the case. But I get the impression that he only had the one,
I think he only
and then he ultimately gives it to Joe as a wedding present, and it's something that he, he even had to fight for his life almost to get it.
It's precious to him, but on another angle of that, it's almost kind of a backhanded gift because it's representative of everything that she didn't want.
Mm-hmm. No, that's true.
She was very much like, I want to go to the Amazon and meet this guy, or wherever they go. Wales. Well, not in this episode, but South Wales. I want to go to South Wales and meet this professor.
Gotcha.
I want to go to Metabulus 3. Well, you just go to Metabulus 3. I'm going to go to this. So it's almost kind of a see what you're missing out on. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not saying that the Doctor's being mean-spirited there, but there's kind of an element to that with it as well, that it's just like, every time you look at this, you're going to think of what could have been. Mm. And that's kind of for a wedding gift, it's kind of heavy too. But I'm not calling out the Doctor going, wow, you're kind of a dick here. But it's just, I'm not meaning it to come out that way, but it's just, it could be, I suppose, interpreted that way. So,
I don't see that. But
I don't,
I'll buy that. I'll buy that for all.
So, all around, thumbs up?
Thumbs up.
Yeah.
This guy.
The henchman.
The head henchman that was the when he
thought he was boss's boss.
When he was even arguing with the boss about, will you please, we have to do this, the boss was like, will you please, I need to do something. Okay, what do you have to do? I have to tell you that we're ready. Okay, then push the button. All right. You're the most worthless middle management ever. Talk about micromanaging a takeover. Now, here's something that I want. The explosion of the boss, did that take out all of the foreign plants as well? That because the boss was gone, that they didn't continue doing whatever? Because they're talking about linking up with all these.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Exterior locations, and that we're ready to do this globally. Oh, but then we blew up one computer in one plant. Did that now all of a sudden just null and void that?
Knocked out the plans for the rest of them, I guess. I hadn't even thought of that until you brought that up.
I don't know, just curious.
They left it open for returning to the corporation.
Because who's there taking care of that? I mean, is there another...
I would imagine there are other... What's his faces at other plants?
Well, is there another guy that's linked in somewhere getting his instructions from the middle management guy? Or is it just that they get a telex that goes, we're supposed to do this now, and they don't even know what they're doing?
Stephen Moffat, I look forward to the 12th Doctor facing this crisis again and having to clean up and resolve the...
The time would be right to do an environmental story.
Yeah.
Why not? I mean... As long as there's no Captain Planet.
What's wrong with Captain Planet?
Oh, well, let me count the things that are wrong with Captain.
There's one thing wrong with Captain Planet. Ted Turner.
Okay. Fair enough.
fact that John Cheadle didn't play him.
There hasn't been a movie yet. They're still working on that.
Don Cheadle should so play him in the movie. You couldn't follow up that funny or die. But.
Yeah, look that up sometime. just type in Don Cheadle, Captain Planet. You'll find it.
So good.
All right.
Well, what's next on the schedule, Sean?
Next on the schedule is Friday Night Who. We're going to do the Craig duology.
Why are we doing the Craig duology, Sean?
Well, we're starting 11 weeks for 11 doctors. Kind of.
Kind of.
It's 11 weeks for 11 doctors with a little asterisk next to it because it's not.
It's actually 12.
It's actually 12.
12 weeks for
12 weeks for 12 doctors.
12 weeks for 12 doctors. Why aren't we calling it that?
Because
people
not
think
canon.
we've got a Capaldi issue.
It would confuse people. So we're going to do The Lodger and Closing Time. So you will need both seasons 5 and 6 queued up for next week, and we'll have to arrange a set.
We'll set up a 5-minute gap.
We'll do an intermission or something
Yeah,
to allow everybody
that's good.
to swap out. And both these episodes are on Netflix, so you can join us if you're doing that. And then our show next week. What are we doing for our show next week?
Our show next week, we will our 8th Doctor celebrations kick off as we cover Big Finish number 72, Terra Firma, and the 8th Doctor Revisited.
Which aired this week.
Which aired, yesterday.
Yesterday, okay. So you've got time still. You've got 1 week now to listen to a Big Finish audio, so I expect you all to get on it. And then the Revisited, which I think most everybody watched. We haven't, but...
We haven't yet, but...
We will. We'll have it
soon.
We'll have it done by then. So we'll be doing some 8th Doctor stuff. And then the following week, we're doing Daleks in Manhattan and Evolution of the Daleks for Friday Night Who's. We're going to do our David Tennant. We're starting with Matt Smith. And so you hope you figure this out. We're doing 11, then 10. Guess what's going to be the following week?
Well, because we have amended the schedule that is on the website.
It'll be a 9.
It will be a 9.
Well, it was a 9 either way in my defense.
Well, I guess that's true, but yeah. Alternative 9, I think, goes before, not proper 9.
I think you wanted to change it just because you've got a way figured out to make him canon, but it makes him pre-9 canon now.
That's right. He's pre-9 canon.
Just like John Hurt.
So then, for our 8.5, we'll be watching a John Hurt movie. We'll watch V for Vendetta or Alien or one of those many things that gives him geek cred.
There you go.
The one that pisses off the most fanboys, Indiana Jones and the
we should totally watch Crystal Skull. That'd be awesome. So we're going to do David Tennant and Daleks in Manhattan. And then that week we are
doing the Big Finish Audio Go Destiny of the Doctor Enemy Aliens, IDW Prisoners of Time, Issue 8, and our 50th anniversary discussion of the 8th Doctor's era.
Which may seem like
we'll get the poll on the website.
And we'll get the poll on the website for that. Which may kind of seem like we're kind of front-loading a lot of the 8th Doctor celebrations into the early part of the month. And the reason for that is that I am not going to be here for the latter part of the month because I am going to Maui to visit my brother. And so the following week...
Never fear, our 8th Doctor celebration will continue.
Because the following week, you two are doing what?
After Friday Night Who, we will be watching Bad Wolf Parting of the Ways. And then Glenn and I will be reading 2 8th Doctor books. Which one are you reading?
I have Earthworld by Jacqueline Rayner.
And I am reading Trading Futures by Lance Parkin.
Jacqueline Rayner wrote the Dalek two-parter, didn't she? Or did we go through this last time?
I can't remember. There was a woman that wrote it.
There's a Rayner somewhere in there that I keep attributing to.
I did want to point out that the one that I chose was Earthworld, which is in the 50th anniversary books. They've been releasing one for each Doctor. They're reprints. This is the 8th Doctor reprint that's out now. So it's available in stores. It's not out of print because they have reprinted it for the
and to be fair, mine might be hard to find because I found it used at vintage stock.
Actually, I think I saw a copy of yours at Barnes & Noble when I went to get picked this one.
Oh, really? I've never seen it anywhere else.
Yours was what again?
It is Trading Futures.
Yes, it was definitely at Barnes & Noble. Yeah, because I saw that one. Oh, this looks... Oh, wait. This is, I think, the one Kids did.
Huh.
Which I think, in an odd twist of serendipity, that I've read the book that Keith picked to read a long time ago. That I thought for sure that I'd read it, and I'm pretty sure that I remember a good chunk of it. So.
I'm excited about Earthworld because I get to revisit Fritz and Angie. Again, that's the companions for this one. So.
Is it Angie or Ange?
Angie.
It is Angie.
A-N-J.
Jacqueline Rayner wrote The Marion Conspiracy.
That's where I was attributing her. Okay. So she's a Big Finish writer, not the
Big
same
Finish,
as
that's
Big
right.
Finish.
And she's written a couple other novels,
That's right,
too.
yeah.
A Ninth Doctor novel, 2 10th Doctor novels.
Yeah, this was her first 8th Doctor novel. This was her first Doctor Who novel, as a matter of fact. So
It is?
So the boys will continue
She's
on
credited
without
with
me
another one.
and do their book reviews. So you've got 2 weeks now. Is that what we did? 2 or 3? 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks if you want to catch. If you want to be. If you want to follow along with the book reviews as well and read those.
Yeah.
So that'll be our 4th set
I
of book
think
reviews?
I saw on Goodreads that Chrissy picked up Earthworld.
So there's that. And then...
It is available, mine, for those, if they can't find it in store, it is available as a Nook book by Barnes & Noble.
Okay.
So you can get it at least as an e-copy.
Let's get a neat copy then.
I'm certain,
Huh, I'm surprised.
nearly certain that I saw... I'd have to see the cover again, but I'm nearly certain that I saw it at Barnes & Noble, an actual copy of it.
And so because of the flip-flop then...
No, I did not. Now that I see it.
Now that he had to see the cover.
That's the one I saw was Harvest of Time.
Okay.
I'm getting confused, because you looked at both of
For
those.
the record, Harvest of Time is the 3rd Doctor story,
Yeah,
though.
that's right. And I was thinking, it's 8th Doctor because we discovered it was a different Doctor, but you're
my
right.
spine
We
is
discovered that
cracked.
it was
Aww.
3rd Doctor.
Sad face.
Sad face. And then because of the flip-flop, then the following week, which is what is the date on that?
The 27th.
The 27th for Friday Night Who, we will be doing Scream of the Shaka, which releases the week before on DVD, so you'll have an actual opportunity to go get a legit copy of it.
It's kind of a shame. We'll be in October by the time we actually get to the actual Doctor Who movie.
If you don't, if you're not able to get a copy of it, though, I believe it is still on the BBC website.
It is.
So,
well, it was as of last week when I looked.
They may pull it off once they put it out for sale, because sometimes they'll do that to generate sales. They don't want people to...
Yeah, but it's worth owning.
Yeah, it totally is. But I'm saying, fortunately, if you don't have to run out to buy it, hopefully it'll still be on the website if you want to watch along that way. And then after that, what will we be watching
For Friday Night Who?
for Friday Night Who? What will we
That's what I
watch
just
after?
said.
Doctor Who the movie.
Oh, you did say that.
Yeah, it's a shame it's no longer going to be September. It's going to be October
Yeah.
at that point.
That's
Our
weird.
8th Doctor
We'll be
celebration's
out
over.
Our 8th
I don't
Doctor
know about you guys,
celebration
but I'm
ends.
still going to rewatch the movie before our anniversary discussion. And introduce Sarah to it.
Oh,
Since
okay.
she still hasn't seen it.
She still hasn't
She
seen
still
it.
hasn't seen it.
I think I've even seen it more recent than you guys have, because I did the watch along.
Oh,
with
yeah,
Daphne,
you did. So you got to.
Yeah, well, because the last time
we watched it was for the Friday
we
Night
watched it
Who.
for Friday Night Who,
and we didn't really
2
watch
years
it
ago.
much because
No.
we were ironing.
it was
iron-ons on.
Oh yeah, you. I
Planet
didn't even
Comic-Con.
join in for
Yeah,
that.
no,
one.
you did because you were. I don't remember what you were doing, but
I went to bed.
We had Planet Comic Con.
We had
the next
Planet
day.
Comic Con.
Chrissy was
That's
holding
why
it
we
down,
watched it
and you
Yeah.
because
That's
yeah,
why.
Yeah.
that's why we watched it because Daphne was at Planet
Because
Comic
Daphne
Con.
was playing Comic Con, so we
And,
watched
and before
it
that,
back
it was the New Year's Friday Night.
yeah, that was almost 2
Yeah.
years.
That was the last time I think I've seen it.
We've done it twice for Friday Night Who. This will be our
The
third
This will be our
time to
third
do it
time.
for Friday Night Who.
More time than it's
Well,
been broadcast in the
considering that there's
US.
only one televised 8th Doctor story, it's kind of inevitable.
And I'm sorry, I will never apologize for putting
It aired
8th
last
Doctor
night,
on
too,
the
yeah.
schedule.
Yeah.
So, guess what? We might do it a few more. Because we're going to give people multiple opportunities to watch Doctor Who the movie. And I want to know more about this. I didn't get to add, right? Where was there a local screening of Doctor Who the movie?
Yeah,
you live in
no
the
kidding.
coolest town
That's
ever.
really cool. Well, she's in Indianapolis, isn't she? Isn't that where
Details.
Lisa's at?
At least Indiana.
Yeah, well, near Indiana, yeah.
Well,
near
yeah, she's probably in a suburb. That's the name of your episode.
Powder Cloud or whatever.
Serendipity and Suburbs.
Oh, we didn't even talk about the use of serendipity.
Oh, yeah.
in this.
It's the,
That was
word a lot.
serendipitous.
What was serendipitous?
yeah.
The what?
The fact that I
The fact
felt
that
like
they
they
used
kept
it a
using
lot.
the wrong definition of it, but I guess
Oh,
it's,
in the
it's
Green
still
Death.
sort of
Green Death,
fits.
yeah.
So.
Do you know what serendipity means? It's a happy accident. It's like, no, we don't have those. Everything here at Traveling the Vortex is done on purpose.
purposeful accidents.
including our mispronunciation, our bad geography, questionable history, and apparently
Poor meteorology skills.
fuzzy meteorology. It is a tornado.
Anything else this week, guys?
I think that's it.
All right. Well, that does it for this week. Then until next week, I'm Glenn.
I'm Sean.
I'm Keith.
Cheers.
Good night, everybody.
Be seeing you.
It's not a tornado.
It is a tornado.
It was an axon.
You have to understand. It was not an axon. What?
You have been listening to Traveling the Vortex. Doctor Who and all of its associated programs are owned and trademarked by the BBC. No infringement is intended or implied.